Musgrave with a dominant truck pulling away from the field.
Ted Musgrave, 2005 champion at the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
He is a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion.
2006 is a new year, a new team, and a new Toyota.
Now here's Musgrave.
But this year, I haven't won a race.
Ted Musgrave on the inside.
I haven't been to victory lane.
Musgrave tries to take the lead.
I just haven't.
Here comes Musgrave looking to the inside.
Ted Musgrave is gone.
Every lap, every restart, Ted Musgrave has answered the bell.
Today, I'm coming back home to Wisconsin. Coming back to a place I know all too well.
Musgrave is there.
Musgrave right on the bumper.
The Milwaukee Mile. A place where I got a great chance to take home the checkers.
Look at Ted Musgrave making the move as well.
Welcome to Wisconsin.
Ted Musgrave claims the Milwaukee 200.
Welcome to Ted Musgrave Country.
Ted Musgrave will celebrate the championship. We're in the State Fairgrounds in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for old school racing from the Milwaukee Mile. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is presented by Craftsman. A beautiful night for truck racing. The temperature is in the mid-60s, a light breeze in the air, and not a cloud in sight. As we gear up for Event 11, let's look at the point standings through Michigan. Todd Bodine has a 178-point lead over David Rudeman. To put that in perspective, Todd could finish last in this race and still be leading the points next week. Crawford and Crafton are moving up after last week's performance. Let's go trackside and hear from Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, tomorrow night at Illiana Speedway, they'll hold the Elmer Musgrave Memorial Race, and the special guest there that night will be Ted Musgrave, but he's also a special guest tonight because he's a two-time winner here at this racetrack at Milwaukee. Ted, all of our winners have come from 8th or better in qualifying, and you start all the way back in 13th. Can you win?
Yeah, I always like to set records, make a show out of it. We've always been kind of struggling a little bit qualifying, but the team ASC Toyota always seems to come up near the front, and we're going to try and do that again tonight.
Okay, good luck to you. That is Ted Musgrave, and now let's hear from Chris Devoda.
Well, momentum is something Rick Crawford has had recently at Milwaukee and this season. Three of your last 3 races here at Milwaukee, top 10s. Last 3 races this season, top 10s. We've got a pattern there. So will the momentum continue tonight at Milwaukee?
Boy, let's try to keep it going. We unloaded a really nice race piece, Circle Bar Truck Corral Ford, and Kevin Starlin, the crew chief, really done a nice job preparing this truck, and I've enjoyed it, and we've been able to fine-tune for 2 hours worth of practice, got it qualified solidly in the field, and hopefully I can take it on to the front. I like this place.
All right, and speaking of momentum, he has also climbed 6 spots in the last 2 weeks in points. Ray?
Ron Hornaday just coming up here, and he is on the pole tonight, and he just had a 48th birthday, so everything's going pretty good. Starting up front is a great deal here at Milwaukee.
That's 24 years old, by the way.
Whatever.
Twice, but yeah, I got to thank Kevin Delana, especially RCR. They've been really working hard with us, and Todd Berry, everybody. I can't believe what a group effort KHI's got. Just everybody pulling together, and this is cool. When you unload like that and only run 6 laps of the last practice, you've got a good truck.
And let's talk about the last couple of weeks, because you guys have really come on strong. The season started out poorly, but a win and a lot of top 5s here in the last 6 races.
It's dedication. I'll tell you what, we got some young kids over here at Kevin Harvick Incorporated, and Delana really gave a great pep talk when we won Mansfield. And it just to have owners like this, to drive how far as they're driving, to how much fun they're having working on this Silverado is pretty awesome. And this is so fun to drive. It makes me feel like I'm an 18-year-old kid again. This is cool.
Okay, good luck. Have a good night tonight. Ron Hornaday has moved up to 12th in points, but one guy that doesn't run for points is standing by with Krista.
Yeah, what he's running for is the win. We know he can win at Milwaukee. He did so in the Busch race last year. Johnny Sauter, you're in the truck race tonight. Can you win here tonight?
I sure hope so. That's the plan right now. No pressure tonight, just go out and have fun and race hard. So no points or anything like that. So I just thank Billy Blue and all the guys at Bowen Family Homes, and Richie Waters. He's a hometown guy just like I am too. So if we could pull it off tonight, that'd be pretty cool.
All right, that's right. Richie Waters from Green Bay. Of course, Johnny Sauter, Wisconsin native as well.
Thank you, Krista. A week ago, Johnny Benson joined 16 others as winners in all 3 of NASCAR's Upper Series. When we come back, JB talks to us about this momentous win from last week. So far, Mark Martin has led the most laps. Johnny Benson,
He wants some of
trying
Mark.
to go to the inside of Mark Martin. This is a pass for the lead.
Johnny Benson dives for the bottom and pulls away by a truck length in turn 4.
Johnny's driving hard, but Mark's truck seems to get a little bit better after 2 or 3 laps.
Here comes Mark Martin closing the gap.
A green-white checkered.
Can you believe it?
I knew it would happen. Johnny Benson's got this race won, boys.
Johnny Benson from Grand Rapids, Michigan, claiming his first win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is brought to you by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears. Welcome everyone to the Milwaukee Mile. A beautiful evening for racing, but let's head down trackside to Chris DeVota first for tonight's State Farm Insurance Safety Tip.
Well, if 2 weeks ago you had asked Jeff Gordon what he was most thankful for, the answer probably would have been safer barriers. The steel and foam energy reduction system softened a blow that was still the third hardest hit in NASCAR history at 64 Gs at Pocono. Here in Milwaukee, NASCAR drivers will now have those safer barriers. The $1 million project was completed in March in time for the Champ Car race earlier this month. You'll remember that Champ Car, IRL, NASCAR, and ARCA all compete here at Milwaukee. The sections are in the 4 turns, the exterior walls, 28-foot sections. The oldest continuously operating motor speedway in the world now has the newest safety technology. That is the State Farm Insurance Safety Tip from Milwaukee.
Thank you, Krista. Now, last week, Johnny Benson grabbed his first career truck win, a stellar career before last week, and that win was like icing on the cake.
Johnny Benson is a winner. Here he goes for the checker. He's going to win again on a short track. Johnny Benson is going to win at Rockingham.
I guess I never doubted that it wasn't going to happen, but I started doubting when it was going to happen. I only ran the 2 years in the Busch Series. In the second year, we finished 6th in the points and then won the championship. And to move up into the Cup and win Rookie of the Year was pretty cool. You know, this year we've been, and even last year we've been competitive. We've had a bunch of seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, but haven't got that win yet.
Benson will race Martin, but Mark Martin will get down to the end of pit road ahead of the 23.
Come in, he had a great pit stop, come out second. You know, and then you got Mark sitting right in front of you, and it's, I says, okay. I said, I knew in practice he was going to be the guy to beat.
It's on the racetrack, baby, and Johnny Benson has the lead.
Got by Mark for the lead. He's going to race you clean, and he's going to beat you, but he's not going to just knock you out of the way to do it.
Johnny Benson's got this race won, boys.
Johnny Benson, welcome to Victory Lane at Michigan International Speedway.
You know, winning at Michigan or MIS was something that means a lot to me. We were kind of taking a vote through the van on the way to the airport saying who's all won a race in NASCAR, and only like 3 of us raised our hand. Now that those guys got the taste, and myself, of the victory, hopefully we can go get a couple more this year.
And it's been a pretty exciting week and a half for Johnny Benson. First, he was upside down at Berlin. He won himself a really nice enduro go-kart race. And oh yeah, he just happened to get his first career win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Michigan. Johnny Benson 4th in the points right now, and tonight you've got a 4th starting position. That's pretty good here at Milwaukee to start up front.
Oh, absolutely. It's extremely important to have a good qualifying run. We got a great pit stall, and the truck's running great. Just looking for a sponsor for a couple of races, so anybody for Kansas and Kentucky and Indy would be great. But outside that, Rick Wren and the guys just done a tremendous job, and real happy about last week, obviously. And we had the majority of the team have never won a NASCAR race. There's only like 3 of us on there that have won a NASCAR race, so that was great to be able to get that for myself and everybody on the team.
Real quickly, tell me about the momentum and how much that helps get you going, getting that win under your belt.
Well, it does. I mean, it gets everybody off our back about it anyways. But just got to really thank Exide for coming on board with that. Toyota certified used vehicles, and everybody at TRD, everybody made it a great week this week. So I'm looking forward to this race and see if we can't get victory lane again.
All right, Johnny Benson has won a race and a pole in all 3 of major divisions. Now,
time, if I could have you please rise and remove your hats. Draw your attention to the start-finish line, and please welcome our Navy Color Guard. Tonight's invocation will be performed by Motor Racing Outreach's Jim Lanning, and our national anthem will be performed by Kevin Wisniewski of the Greenfield Fire Department.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we are truly grateful for this beautiful night that you have provided here at the Milwaukee Mile. And Father, we are so grateful to be in a country where we have freedom to come and enjoy motorsports. And Father, I know all of us in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, as well as all these race fans, we pray for all our armed forces all over the planet. And God, we pray that you would provide them a dome of protection wherever they might be. Right now, God, we pray that you would bless this event. We pray you'll help every competitor to do their very best. And may there be safety all around this racetrack. Most of all, Lord, we thank you for Jesus. For our faith in him, we can have an eternal life and an abundant life. In his name we pray and give thanks. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Harley-Davidson drive-by as they go across the start-finish line and in front of the grandstands in Milwaukee Mile. Next up, the drivers will be climbing into their seats, but it's time for the Aaron's Lucky Dog Dream Seat Upgrade. Here are a couple fans get a move to the front stretch for tonight's race, courtesy of Aaron's. Aaron's brings you the Lucky Dog Dream Seat Upgrade. You know what? I think last week they thought that was Kenny Wallace that was in the Lucky Dog. We may have him in the booth tonight.
I hear that's Darrell Waltrip.
Welcome back to Milwaukee, Beer Town, USA. And welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Toyota Tundra Milwaukee 200. Hello everyone, I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons, and mild-mannered Kenny Wallace will join us in the booth for tonight's broadcast. Now first, Phil, you've always kind of played off qualifying, saying it's not quite as important, but here it may be a little bit different.
Well, it really is, Rick. Normally, I don't think qualifying is that big a deal, but as we heard Ray tell us earlier, the farthest back a winner had ever started here was 8th. In 10 of the 11 races here, the winner has started in the top 5, so I think that qualifying definitely makes a big difference here. And for people like Dennis Setzer and Bobby Hamilton Jr., who are starting way, way, way in the back, they're really going to have their work cut out for them.
Well, Kenny, you've also made the comment that this is somewhat of a unique mile track.
You know, Milwaukee has its own merit. It has its own mystique. It's a true 1 mile oval. And I think one reason that cars or trucks that have started outside the top 8 have not won here is because, look at this. You go to Phoenix, you go to Gateway, you go to Loudon, tracks that you would think would be similar here. You can't use those setups. This racetrack requires a very, very soft front springs. You have to really have a good setup here. So as you look at the corners in this racetrack, track's old, but yet it is not like any other racetrack we see in the United States.
Yeah, Kenny, qualifying earlier yesterday, we had problems. Some of the drivers weren't able to negotiate through turn 4 very well.
Yeah, as Kenny's talking about, this is a very difficult racetrack to get a hold of. It's so flat. Here's Eric Almirola on his qualifying effort. He gets completely sideways, a terrific save, and several people had some trouble. Here's Dennis Setzer, a short track master, and this really drives like a short track. He got so sideways, he ended up avoiding that qualifying run. And here's Kelly Sutton. She's going to get completely sideways, does a great job of saving that truck. So a lot of drivers had a lot of difficult time during their qualifying lap.
And Phil, I think that's because you have to run your truck very free here. If it's not free, you're going to push real bad in the race. I think they were set up just a little too free to go real fast.
We've seen veterans win on this racetrack. Is that what we're going to see again tonight?
Well, I think experience definitely plays here. And obviously, you get somebody like Dennis Etcher that's so good, or he hasn't won, but he's starting way in the back. And if qualifying holds true, then he doesn't have much of a chance. But we've got several winners stacked up front.
Well, let's find out who's going to win this race, but first let's start the engine.
And for those most famous words in all of motorsports, on behalf of Toyota, please welcome tonight's Grand Marshal, Pat Donahue.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines!
Engines are fired up. The drivers will be getting their steering wheels calibrated and checking all the belts and everything in their truck before they go onto the racetrack. Who's going to say, get out of my way on this racetrack? Short track racing from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beertown, USA, the site of race 11 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on speed is presented by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. Brought to you in part by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears. And by Valvoline. Tested on the track, trusted on the road. Great evening for racing. Let's go through the numbers of the historic Milwaukee Mile. A true oval, the front and back stretches are the same length, 1,265 feet. Corners are very flat, just over 9 degrees of banking. And Phil, you can tell us a little bit about getting around this racetrack as far as what it's going to take, where they're going to have to go, what line do they want to go on.
Let's take a lap. Here you see Bobby Hamilton Jr. drives into turn number 1. He wants to stay very close to the yellow line. He may drift up just a touch in the center to get a good straight run off the corner. Down to about 95 miles an hour in the center of the corner. You see him exit turn number 2 right out next to the wall. Carry a lot of speed down the backstretch, probably about 150 miles an hour. Off the throttle, hard on the brakes again. Stay right next to the white line there. Drift up just a touch in the center to try to get a good straight run off turn number 4. You make up a lot of time off turn number 4 as we drive back towards the start-finish line, and that's a lap at the Milwaukee Mile.
Let's look at our race analysis. 200 miles, 200 laps.
Versus a little bit over $500,000. You see our pit window somewhere between 80 and 90 laps. The first 130 some laps of this race last year went all green.
Take a look at our Framit starting grid. On the pole for the 13th time in his career, Ron Hornaday. And just outside of him, the man who knows how to qualify, Jack Sprague.
Yeah, he holds the record along with Mike Skinner for the most poles in his career. Here's row number 2. You see our most recent winner, Johnny Benson, and Johnny Sutter, who's got a great truck out of Billy Ballou Stables.
Row 3, Mike Skinner. He's a veteran, has a lot of poles. On his outside, Eric Amarillo.
Our points leader, Todd Bodine, will start on the inside of row number 4. Outside of him, David Reagan. Jerry Cook has won here.
Yeah, great qualifying effort for Marcus Ambrose in row number 5.
The Aussie, Marcus Ambrose.
So there's Ted Musgrave, 2-time winner here back in row number 7. Rookie Eric Darnell back in row number 8.
Bliss has also won at this racetrack. Another winner. Another winner, Brendan Gaughan, too.
David Starr, winner earlier this year at Martinsville in row number 11.
Nice to see Steve Park in the 59 truck. That's a Ford. And Kelly Girl Sutton. And let me give it up for my buddy, starting in the 13th row. That's Justin Algar. Last night, we were in Macon County, Illinois, the littlest dirt track in the whole world. And out of 20 cars, he finished 12th. Nice to see him make it up here overnight and qualify for the race.
Rick, look back in row number 18, Bobby Hamilton Jr. He had a problem during inspection for qualifying, a template issue. He was not even allowed to make a qualifying attempt, so he will start all the way back in the last row.
38 attempted to make the field, and Kenny, I hate to tell you, but your brother didn't make this one.
Well, that's how tough this truck series is getting. As I should say, my brother Mike Wallace finished 4th in the Busch Series race at Kentucky last week, so that tells you how tough this truck series has got.
will ride along with a few different trucks. One of those being Bobby Hamilton Jr. As Phil mentioned, he starts in the back of the field, so we'll be able to see if he can negotiate his way up toward the front.
Dennis Setzer, our short track ace. This drives just like a short track. Starts all the way back in the 25th spot in his Flex Fuel Chevrolet.
And this next one ought to be a really good show. That's Teddy Musgrave in the number 9. He starts 13th. He's a hometown hero, and by God, he's going to be flying to the front. Cannot wait to get those views.
Another Toyota Tundra is starting up toward the front. Mike Skinner, he starts in the 6th position. We'll see if he's able to negotiate his way through 5 other trucks to get to the front. Well, let's go down trackside to Ray Dunlap with thoughts before green.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, all these drivers really like it when I say nice things about him, like this. Ted Musgrave might win tonight. I think he has a good shot at it because he's a 2-time winner here. But what they don't like is when I point out the negative, like the fact that it's been a long time since a lot of these drivers have won, including Terry Cook. When you look at Terry Cook, he's at the top of the list with 93 races since his last victory in -- But look at this list of the top 5 guys with a long time between wins. When you see 4 of those 5 guys on that list actually have in the longest streak of their career since they've won a race. And guess what? All 4 of those guys that are highlighted have all won here at Milwaukee. Krista?
Yeah, there have been 10 different Truck Series winners at Milwaukee. 8 of those guys are in the field tonight. So if you are a rookie, what are you thinking? I mean, have you even got a shot? Well, remember, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of experience at some of these tracks. What little experience they do have is usually in ARCA or even USAC cars. Well, 2 of the guys in the field tonight, David Reagan, who's technically not a rookie, he made a bunch of starts in '04, and Kyle Krisiloff, both raced here before, not in a truck, but in a Busch car. That was last year. They didn't finish too well. Reagan 36th and Krisiloff 42nd, but they logged laps, and that's the important thing. And so far, so good. Reagan qualified 8th, Krisiloff 11th.
You know, Ray and Krista, I agree with your analyzation there, but when you look at somebody like Terry Cook, who 2 or 3 races ago ran a strong second at Charlottesville, you don't look at him as a guy that cannot get the job done. The same thing with Johnny Benson. Johnny goes a couple of years, doesn't win, boom, he wins. Terry Cook can get the job done. He's just got to have that race like Johnny Benson had last week.
He had a win locked up last year and cut a tire down, Kenny, inside of 3 or 4 laps to go. So he definitely knows how to win. And he won such a big race here, racing past Jason Leffler on the very last lap on a green-white checker to get that win here.
And how many race car drivers, Phil, have we watched? Let's go back to Mike Skinner in his Cup career at Atlanta, leading with just a handful of laps to go and blows the motor. If that motor does not blow, his Cup career is safe. Terry Cook can get the job done just like Johnny Benson did last week. You know, they got to close the deal, but a lot of the times it's not their fault. This truck right here, Rick, was leading Kentucky and blew a tire last year.
I give you a half a lap. Who's your pick for the win tonight, Kenny?
Oh, Lord, it's really tough. I'm going to go with the hometown hero, Johnny Sauter. You know, that truck, number 51, is really fast. And I think Richie Waters has got a really good setup for this track.
Phil?
I think Jack Sprague, he's been here, he's won here, he's finished second twice, only 1 finish out of the top 10 in his career. I think he's the man to beat.
Couple veterans are who the professionals think are going to win this one today. We'll find out shortly, because as they get ready to come out of turn 4, the pace truck will make its way down pit road, and that will leave the field in the hands of Ron Hornaday Jr. Jack Sprague on his outside. Ron Hornaday, known for his starts. We'll see if anyone can hang on to the back bumper of Ron Hornaday as he comes out of 4. The green flag about to fly for the Toyota Tundra Milwaukee 200.
What a big-time start by Ron Hornaday, because I don't think he jumped. It looked like Jack Sprague had a little bit of trouble on the start, Kenny.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Ron Hornaday can make anybody look bad on any restart. Ron Hornaday started right. He just knows how to get through that gearbox, and he come off there like a AA funny fuel car. He looked like John Force. Woo! Look at him, he's gone, Phil.
Johnny Sauter's moved into the 2nd spot ahead of the 60 of Jack Sprague. Johnny Benson back and forth.
Crossing the start-finish line in front, Ron Hornaday. That's only the 2nd time that Ron Hornaday has led this season. First time was Mansfield. 131 laps he led there. His win.
Yeah, picked a good time to lead there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Big lead right now. He's got about a 5 truck length lead over Johnny Sauter now as they come out of 4.
Yeah, Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague's 2 truck were consistently among the fastest in practice. Johnny Sauter also was very fast. You know, Bobby Hamilton Jr. was very, very fast in practice. As we talked earlier, did not get a chance to qualify. Started all the way back at the end. Oh, caution on the racetrack. You know, we only had 1 caution flag here last year, and we've already got a caution out for debris on lap number 2.
We'll find out where the debris is, and we'll get it cleaned up. We'll be back after these messages. Sunday on Speed, step into the wind tunnel with Dave Despain. Get fired up, then fill Dave's voicemail at 1-866-W-TUNNEL all weekend long. The more animated, the more you'll be heard. Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain, Sunday 9 Eastern on Speed.
American F1 driver Scott Speed is the guest on Wind Tunnel tomorrow night, or Sunday night, excuse me.
That's the closest name I've heard to Speed Racer in a long time. Lake
Speed.
Lake Speed. Where is Lake, by the way?
Concord, Kannapolis area. Yeah, saw him not too long ago.
Is he running those old cars? I hear that they race them.
He's racing go-karts again. You know, he was a world champion go-kart racer.
Lake Speed was.
Yeah, sure was. World champion. He raced against all the, you know, Eric Senna and all the future F1 drivers.
Another tidbit that I know you're really going to appreciate. Lake Speed also drove the University of Nebraska car, the one race that it ran.
Okay. You're a Nebraska guy?
Yeah, Phil always loves when I bring up Nebraska in broadcast.
Well, while we're under caution and we're filling a little bit of time, I'm going to throw in that my league-leading Cardinals, I know we lost 3 in a row to the Chicago White Sox, but we got Albert Pujols back, and I'm very excited about that.
Kenny, mine was a reference to racing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
Well, I was actually looking over the back straightaway, and that's what made me think about it. There's Miller Park, and that's the home of the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm sorry, we're under caution.
Hey, they got a tough weekend series this weekend, though, don't they?
We're playing your boys, the Detroit Tigers.
Exactly.
Ray, what's going on with the racetrack?
Well, guys, you know, we expected a lot of people to be talking about being tight here tonight. That's when you try to get around these real flat corners, you're usually tight. And as it has cooled off here tonight, that's continually what I'm hearing on the radio. About 75% of the guys on my end of pit road saying they can't believe how tight it is already. There's going to be a lot of adjustments when we get that first pit stop tonight, which should come right around lap 80.
And Ray, it's been a gorgeous day. I mean, the day couldn't have been better. It's a slight breeze all day. It maybe got up to 71, 72 degrees today.
It has been blistering hot here before for most of the time, it seems like, but just Chamber of Commerce, whether we caught a glimpse right there of Richie Waters, crew chief for the 51 truck of Johnny Sauter. They've got a great truck. You know, that truck's the same truck that won earlier this year with Kyle Busch.
5 laps have been complete when they come out of turn number 4. It will be Ron Hornaday again in front, and obviously the master of restarts out in front. We'll get another chance at it here as we start on lap 7 now. 6 complete.
Three wide back here, mid-pack. That's Bill Lester, the 22 on the inside. There's the 77 of Brendan Gaughan. Outside of him, Matt Kraft on the 88. There comes David Starr and his Toyota on the inside.
And Phil, this is such a flat racetrack. It's almost like a skid pad. So if you drive in too hard, you slide up and you open the door, as Brendan Gaughan was. Here's Terry Cook looking on the inside at Todd Bodine.
Very good at this racetrack, and he makes the pass on Todd Bodine. We haven't seen a lot of that yet this year.
We haven't said that very much this year. Anybody passing Todd Bodine.
Impressive run. Here comes Rick Crawford now. He's got the nose on the inside. Not going to be able to make the pass this time, but he's going to set himself up in position to try to get by Todd Bodine.
You know, Rick has a little momentum going. He's had 3 good runs in a row. He's had a good 3rd place finish at Texas, 6th last week at Michigan. He's got a little momentum on his side.
Look at him all over the back bumper of Todd Bodine. Here comes Rick Crawford now.
And Rick Crawford said this is a brand new truck, so maybe this will be one of his favorite trucks, hopefully when the night is over, the way he's running right now.
See Todd move over, give him a little bit of room. We're going to try to get by on the inside. Todd's going to hang tough on the outside. You get some grip up there on the outside, Kenny.
Yeah, it's fresh up there. Everybody likes the bottom. That's where all the rubber buildup is, but sometimes you can get to the outside, find some fresh asphalt. And later on in this race, Phil, that's where they'll be, about in the middle groove.
Rick Crawford taking over 8th position from Todd Bodine. Now Crawford moving his way up. Crawford qualified 12th. Eric Darnell also in the mix as well.
Yeah, that's David Reagan, the 6th truck right behind the 30 of Todd Bodine. That's his teammate. The 99 was right behind him, Eric Darnell. both Roush drivers. There's the 16 of Mike Bliss pulling up to the rear tailgate of the 99 of Eric Darnell.
We have to remember this is a short track race that's very flat, Kenny.
Oh, it's very flat. Like I said at the start of the show, no other racetrack like this. Look at this. Here's Bobby Hamilton Jr. Now, what amazes me about this truck, Phil, is he was second and third fastest in practice sessions. He's struggling right now to make a lot of gain. I've been watching, had my eye on him, but as the sunset falls and the track cools down, we'll have to see if he has that speed like he did in practice.
And remember, all these teams started on fresh tires. They all had new tires qualifying, essentially new, and so they've got their 2 or 3 laps qualifying on them, and now we're 11 laps into the race. We've already had 1 caution flag, but Bobby's seeming to move up a little bit, isn't he, Krista?
Guys, Bobby Hamilton Jr. actually came in here this weekend with a great truck. They were very strong in practice, so it was a huge disappointment that they had a D and S. Did not start for qualifying. The problem came in inspection. NASCAR said the nose did not fit the template. Now, his team did disagree, saying, hey, it's the same nose we used last week, but that fell on deaf ears as Bobby Hamilton Jr. was not allowed to take his qualifying laps and had to start way in the back.
Now, the benefit of that is he had stickers on, right? I mean, he started the race on stickers.
Well, these tires really last pretty well. A lot of drivers were running very, very good laps, 40 or 50 laps on their trucks in practice, so I don't think that's going to be a big advantage. He would love to trade those sticker tires for some 3-lap scuffs in about 20 positions.
Phil, as a race car driver, if I'm Bobby Hamilton Jr. and I'm waiting for my truck to come on the qualifying line, I'm going nuts. I'm like, where is my truck? I just wonder what was going through Bobby's mind as his truck never showed up to qualify, never making it through tech. I'm hyperactive. I would have been running down there. Where's my truck?
Top 4 stays the same. Ron Hornaday, Johnny Sauter, Jack Sprague, and Johnny Benson are your top 4. Mike Skinner rounding out the top 5. The last time Ron Hornaday found victory lane, it was Mansfield just 4 races ago. Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile for the Toyota Tundra Milwaukee 200 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Ron Hornaday has put a second between himself and Johnny Sauter.
You know, Rick, there's all types of grooves around this racetrack. When you watch Ron Hornaday come down this front straightaway, watch how he enters turn 1. He misses this wall. Look at there. Okay, now as you watch some other trucks, they'll enter a lot higher, but that's one quirk about the Milwaukee Mile is how do you enter turn 1? You know, a lot of guys are out maybe a truck length, and the top 4 trucks I've noticed 2 to 3 feet still parses off of that wall.
And it really makes the apex of the turn, the center of the turn, a blind spot until you get by that cement wall there. Because until you clear that cement wall, you really can't see the apex of the corner.
And I think the corner is so wide. There's nothing wrong with chopping this corner. As geometry, we're thinking he's getting ready for an angle. Wow, look at this battle for second and third. Sauter trying to get around the 02 truck. And there goes Jack Sprague following him.
There's Kelly Sutton, the 0-2, being lapped by our second and third place trucks. There's Johnny Benson, our 4th place truck, also lapping by Kelly.
These 4 trucks have separated themselves. Now, Johnny Sauter, on the first start of the race, he was able to get in front of Jack Sprague, take over second. Sprague dropped to 3rd, and Johnny Benson started 4th. So here's your top 4 running 1 through 4. The only position change was Johnny Sauter taking 2nd away from Jack Sprague.
You can watch those drivers. A lot of them will slide up above the black asphalt, which is a little bit newer pavement than the lighter colored asphalt, to try to get a little bite with those right side tires.
Hey, Phil, I like this groove. Johnny Benson, he comes flying in here. Look at this groove he's seeking out. He's pretty groovy, by the way, by gosh. Going to the outside, looking at a better angle to get off. That's a lot of cup guys do that. Johnny's run a lot of cup. He's not afraid to go up there right away.
He had all 4 tires, Kenny, up above the black asphalt. See if he does it here, too. There he is again, all 4 tires up above the black strip of asphalt.
And what that does keep his motor wound up coming off the corner. He doesn't have to die down as hard in the middle.
Well, as Ron Hornaday runs out in front, let's do a speed drop back. Starting with Ron Hornaday and Ray Dunlap.
Well, so far, Grandpa's doing pretty good out there, don't you think? I mean, he had his 48th birthday just this past week, and Ron Hornaday says he's feeling better than ever right now. At the beginning of this season, he wasn't feeling too well with his health, but right now, Ron Hornaday on the top of his game. Krista?
Well, right behind Grandpa would be the 28-year-old Johnny Sauter. You know, Sauter is using his Busch pit crew, the yellow freight team, but two of the guys, the rear tire changer and the rear tire carrier, still caught in the air trying to get here and land, so they have two replacements. We may be talking about them later on when pit stops come out. Meanwhile, Jack Sprague complaining of a little bit tight off the corner. That's something obviously we're hearing quite a bit. Johnny Benson has been turning consistently some of the best lap times on the track. In fact, he's had the best lap times for the last couple of laps, right?
You know, Krista, you really just can't test much right now with the new policies that NASCAR has put out. But earlier this week, the number 5 team went to Caraway Speedway to do some testing. And Mike Skinner said they learned a lot about brakes there, and he thinks that brakes could be key tonight here at this racetrack. So they feel like their test was a good one. Krista?
Earlier in the show, of course, we documented how long it's been since Terry Cook went to victory lane, 93 races back at IRP in 02. He got on the radio before the race started and said, let's get her done. He wants a win badly. Meanwhile, Rick Crawford, nice and smooth. Those are the words consistently being said over his radio as Rick Crawford continues to just turn continuous constant laps. He has already moved his way up. Starting 12th, he is now running 7th.
Hey, Krista, the last couple of races for the number 75 of Eric Almirola have been terrible. A 32nd and a 36th place finish. But Eric told me a top 10 is going to make him very happy here tonight. Currently, the Spears Chevrolet is running 8th.
Had dropped back just a little bit. He was getting frustrated. His crew reminding him, hey, there's like 25 trucks back there worse than you, but he said his truck is starting to turn better off the corner. The cooler temperatures are helping him, but he does say he still needs more turn off, right?
The number 99 truck had a good finish at Daytona. They finished 6th there, but he told me earlier today that he believes they have a top 5 truck underneath him right here tonight. Currently, Darnell is in 10th, and he's just a little bit tight coming off the corner. They're going to try to work on that chassis a little bit to free him up just a little bit and see if they can get that top 5. Now, for Mike Bliss, the whole day has not gone very well. He has been tight, and they just cannot seem to do anything to that IWX Chevrolet to get it any better. So far, Mike Bliss just not happy with his chassis here tonight.
There's David Reagan, the 6th truck, with a good battle with the 88 of Matt Crafton. Matt's going to drive by. You see, David just lost the 12th position to Matt Crafton in the 88, but he's got a good run out of such a terrific run at Texas. Had his good first top 10 finish in his Truck Series career, driving the same truck that Mark Martin drives on 14 occasions. Let's drop back a little ways. There's Ted Musgrave right there, the Team ASC Toyota. Ted started in the 13th spot. He's actually lost a couple spots here. He told me right before qualifying that he thought his truck was what he needs because he's obviously won 2 races here. He knows what feel he needs to be able to pass people, and he said he thought he had his truck pretty close to that, but he's lost a couple spots. We'll have to see if the racetrack comes to him.
And one thing about Ted Musgrave, he knows what he's supposed to feel, so it's not like you have a driver in there that doesn't know. I mean, this cat's really good here. Teddy Musgrave, I mean, he's from Wisconsin. This is his home track. So if he cannot get the feel in this truck, then that means nobody's going to get it because he's proven that he's a winner here.
Well, guys, the drivers we talked about in the drop back, Skinner, Sprague, Hornaday, Bliss, Musgrave, Cook, all have won on this racetrack. So a lot of experience in the front of the field in the Milwaukee Mile. We'll be right back. Tomorrow on Speed, the definitive pre-race show returns to set the grid and latch your window net for Sonoma. Get fired up for race day with NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Tomorrow morning, 11 Eastern, only on Speed.
Kenny, don't you usually do that show on Sunday morning?
Well, I usually do, by gosh, but I will be at this racetrack tomorrow night in the AutoZone Ford, and you know, if I do that show, I'll get about an hour of sleep. So Jimmy Spencer can handle it this weekend, guys.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
And actually, I mentioned I said tomorrow. It's actually Sunday when that race actually takes, or that race day takes place. Now, Kenny, who's the producer on that show?
Ted Lakaitis. He is the producer. We have a caution on the track.
Caution comes out at Milwaukee. This is the second caution of the night.
And I will tell you, there are a lot of truck racers out there that like to see this caution because Ron Hornaday was on a torrid pace. And,
Kelly Sutton in the wall.
Sutton.
Right up against the wall. Kelly Sutton had problems earlier, was spun around, but was able to keep the truck going. Again, caution did not come out, but this time she brings the 0-2 onto the grass now as the caution has come out.
This is Bobby Jr. right here. Let's see what he saw. He goes by the start-finish line. That's I think Kelly 2 trucks ahead of him. That's Steve Park, the 59, right in front of him. Looks like she got completely sideways in front of the 59 of Steve Park. Steve made a little bit of contact with her, but she got sideways right before Steve got there. Hopefully he doesn't have too much damage.
As a race car driver, guys, Steve just finished her off. She was dead sideways, and Steve was committed to going underneath of her in the gas, and she came right across his nose. So she gets real loose up off the corner, and Steve just kind of takes care of her. And this is great. I get to announce the Aaron's lucky dog is my friend Justin Allgaier. And once again, he is an upcoming superstar, I believe.
Raced with him last night, as you mentioned.
At Macon, Illinois. And what I got to say about Justin is he's a young kid, doesn't have a lot of money, has a lot of heart, a lot of desire. And his dad, we call him Gator, he controls the Hoosier Tires in the Midwest. And I'm doing my job to make sure I plug in the lucky dog winner, Justin Allgaier, number 63.
Looks as though Ron Hornaday may bring a few of the trucks down pit road with him. Pit road is open. Chris Devoda.
As the trucks come down pit road, Johnny Benson was deciding what they were going to do. He said, hey, you know what? Even if Ron Hornaday comes, maybe we should just stay out and stick to our plan. They said, nah, if Ron comes, we better come too. And that's exactly what Johnny Benson does as he slides his Toyota Tundra into his pit stall. Last week's winner, not really looking for much change. They're actually complaining about just being a little bit loose, actually. So they're going to make a slight adjustment, a slight wedge adjustment. Meanwhile, Johnny Sauter complaining of tight, really tight, 2 pounds out of the right rear. That was their plan on this stop, Ray.
Ron Hornaday is in, and he was just a little bit tight in the center of the corner, so they're going to take a half-pound of air out of the right front on his number 33. The guys go to work here, pretty routine stop. The number 14 of Rick Crawford will be first off pit road. Hornaday comes in first, goes out second.
Right behind Hornaday, it looked as though the 23 of Johnny Benson was able to get off pit road, and then Jack Sprague followed him.
Bad break for the 51 of Johnny Sauter. He was blocked in. He started to back up to give himself clearance to get out. When he started pulling forward, the truck in front of him backed out. Let's see if we can take a look back at what happened here. See, there's the 51 of Johnny Sauter. They already pushed him back. He starts to pull out, and then looks like maybe the 5 of Mike Skinner. He also backed out. There's Mike Skinner. He had to back out to get clearance. Really cost Johnny Sauter a lot of time.
Very tight pit stalls here in Milwaukee.
They really are. There's a 6 pulling out. That's Dennis Setzer right there. We're following him off of pit road. But they really are. There's about 36 trucks here having to pit on this pit road, and probably some of the shallowest pit stalls we've seen all year.
Ron Hornaday was first when he came into pit. Rick Crawford took over the top spot now in Milwaukee. Welcome back to Milwaukee. This is how they came into the pit stalls and now where they're running.
Ron Hornaday came in first, lost a spot to Rick Crawford, who came in 7th. Here's Mike Skinner's guys right there. You see him at the bottom. He came in 5th, came out 12th. He was involved in the same incident that Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter came in 3rd, and he came out 8th because of that same incident. He had to back up. Skinner had to back up. The 99 of Eric Donnell was in front of Skinner. That's why Skinner had to back up. Very, very crowded pit road.
Coming to the green flag for the restart. Rick Crawford leads the field. Ron Hornaday jumps to the outside, side by side for the lead.
Yeah, that Ron Hornaday is so incredible on a restart. That time he didn't beat him at the start-finish line on the restart. He just drove by him on the outside.
Ron Hornaday will terrorize you. I'm going to tell you what, if I'm leading a race with 5 to go and you got to restart, and I'm Crawford, I'm going to go like a maniac, because Hornaday, if you have ever raced him, you know that's his style. So you know it's coming, but one thing I'm glad about Hornaday is he took off. That means he was faster than me.
Now, I know I'm going to ask you this, and you're going to say, well, I don't know, but I've got to ask you, how can Ron Hornaday beat everyone at a restart every time?
Because I know why.
You do know?
Yes.
Okay.
He's from California. This is a true story. He's from California. He had a good friend, a company called Stick Owner, and they made transmissions. Hornaday grew up out there in Riverside, California, transmissions. He learned the art of transmissions and restart early in his career, and that's where it comes from. It originates from West Coast and building transmissions, and now he just prides himself on kicking your butt on restarts. That man right there on the right side of your screen, Ron Hornaday, is by far one of the best restart kings. And it has won him races.
Everybody. On the restart, he beats everyone.
Hey, Ricky's won these races before. I've watched him on some of the short tracks. Phil, he's won some of these races on these green-white checkers on restarts.
Just by beating them on a restart, sure has. You see, that's Mike Skinner on the inside trying to drive by the 20 of Marcus Ambrose.
They're side by side. Skinner and Ambrose fighting for 13th. Skinner takes that spot away.
There's the 9 of Ted Musgrave right behind the 20 of Marcus Ambrose.
Again, we're getting into single file racing where you're more or less just picking one truck off at a time. You can't really make leaps and bounds on this track.
Yeah, and Milwaukee is like that, Rick. You cannot spend much time. Look, Harry Gant taught me years ago, we're racing the leader. We can't be racing each other. The more side-by-side racing just lets that leader check out on you. You have to be single file.
There was a battle for third right there. Jack Sprague took over the third spot from the 14 of Rick Crawford. Johnny Benson in the 23 had already taken over the second position.
Rick Crawford sliding sideways coming out of turn number 2 there. As now Terry Cook looks to the inside of Crawford. Looks like Crawford's truck might be loose now.
You know, I try to pay attention to everything. Did Crawford take on 4 tires? We're going to have to find out. He's sliding back like he only took on right sides, and maybe I'm wrong.
You know, Kenny, he came in the pit 7th and came out first, so you know, you wonder if maybe he only changed 2 tires. We'll get to that here in just a few moments.
Crawford restarted this race in first. Then on the restart, it was Ron Hornaday that was able to get by him. Now Crawford has dropped back to 5th.
There's Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there, the Fastenal Dodge, number 18. David Reagan, the Scots Ford out of Jack Roush's stables right in front of him. You see Bobby, he's made a little bit of progress. He's currently 22nd. He started all the way back in 35th. As we mentioned, he did not get a chance to qualify. Started all the way back in the last row. He's making some nice moves here. We're less than a quarter into this race, and he's already gained about 13 positions.
We saw this the other way earlier, meaning Todd Bodine was getting passed by trucks. Now here comes Todd Bodine trying to pass Rick Crawford. Krista, what's going on with Rick?
Yeah, guys, you were talking about Rick Crawford, wondering why he's sliding back. You're exactly right. Tires, they did not take any tires on that stop. In fact, just a half round of wedge. That was the only adjustment. No tires for Rick Crawford when they pitted on lap 38.
Boy, Phil, I don't know about that. I mean, when they made that restart, 40 laps, you're talking about a big 1 mile oval. That's a lot of laps. They did what they needed to do, but wow, what a call. It looks like he's going to pay for it, and if he doesn't get a caution, he could go down a lap. He's really slow right now.
That's right, and he more than likely will have to come in on the next caution flag no matter what. And our leaders may stay out because they just stopped, you know, back on lap number 38. So it's going to put them out of sync probably if the caution comes out anytime soon.
If you're on a half-mile oval like you were at Mansfield, 40 laps is not a lot of laps. But when you're on a big 1 mile racetrack, you know, this is almost a speedway. That's a lot of laps, 40 laps.
And this racetrack has a lot of corner to it, too, when you're really leaning on those tires.
Right on that.
Hey, guys, Bill Lester started in 15th tonight. Right now he's back in 30th and about to lose another spot. You want to know why? No power steering on that truck. Now, think about how hard that'll be tonight here at Milwaukee. This racetrack only has 8 degrees of banking in the corner, which is really like none. So these guys are cranking on the wheel all night long, and Bill, he's going to have to crank a little harder.
Yeah, that's pretty tough, too, isn't it, Kenny? There comes Johnny Benson catching our leader, Ron Hornaday. Johnny trying to make it 2 in a row.
This could be momentum right here. Johnny Benson riding on his first career Truck Series win from a week ago, now reeling in Ron Hornaday.
Hey, and set me straight, okay? Does Bill Davis Racing have that? I mean, they did the same thing last year with Skinner. When Skinner won Bristol, he went on to win a couple more.
Richmond, the next
so Bill Davis Racing, they do that type of thing. So You know, this is a Bill Davis Racing truck. 23, Johnny Benson. He might rattle off 2 in a row. By gosh.
He could do more. You never know what goes on with JB. Krista?
Gosh, Johnny Benson actually, remember, thought about staying out. They were discussing their pit strategy. We talked about how Rick Crawford didn't take any tires. Johnny said, hey, if you guys want to stay out, I'll be okay with that. But they did decide that, yeah, if Hornaday was coming in, they better come in too. They just made a slight adjustment on that truck. He has been extremely happy with the way that truck is handling. Johnny Benson finished 7th here in 1995. That is his best Milwaukee finish. He had engine trouble here last year.
There's Dennis Setzer right there, drives to the inside of the 20 of the Team Australia Ford, Marcus Ambrose. That's a battle for the 15th position right there. Dennis looked like he worked down that truck a little bit. He's got a little better truck right now. Started way back. Gosh, he started all the way back in the 25th position, which is very, very uncharacteristic for Dennis Setzer on this type of racetrack, which essentially is a short track.
Hey, Phil, you notice I seen Dennis do something that is old school that me and you grew up with at Martinsville, faking a man out in the mirror. Basically, I don't have a run on you, but I pull to the left. The driver in front goes, oh my gosh, where's he at? It's an old school art, but yet you give it to him. So Setzer pulls way left. The guy doesn't see him in the mirror, goes wide, and Setzer gets the spot.
It's just like a streetcar, Kenny. You pull in his blind spot. The guy, he looks in the mirror, looks around, he doesn't see you. He knows you're on the inside of him, so he's going to give you a little extra room.
I guess Johnny Benson's going to try maybe the same thing, but I don't know if there's a blind spot when you're right on the back bumper.
Well, when you're dealing with Ron Hornaday, that blind spot thing's not going to work. I'm talking early school. And now look at this Johnny Benson. I believe he's going to pull it off. Wow, high, wide, and handsome. This is exciting.
How about Johnny Benson passing on the outside for the lead?
Side by side, working their way into turns 3 and 4. Hornaday on the inside, Benson on the outside. Benson running that high line so far tonight.
Look at Ron Wiggle on the bottom, trying to get a bite.
And Benson is going to make the pass stick on the outside. He will lead that last lap.
Hornaday won't give it to him. He will not do like Mark Martin. He'll fight him to the end.
Johnny's going to have a nice run off the corner. Going to keep the momentum up. Johnny takes the lead.
And you see him inside the truck there, Phil. Hey, thanks a lot, Ron. Now he's going to check out. Now look at this high line, Phil. Me and you were talking about that earlier. Johnny Benson, the only truck to run high in turns 3 and 4 right now and making it work.
Johnny Benson becomes the 3rd different driver to lead at the Milwaukee Mile. Ron Hornaday's led 52 laps. Crawford led 3. Now Johnny Benson has been out in front for 2. This is also the 3rd race Johnny Benson has led in 2006. 3rd straight race, that is. NASCAR racing across the Fox family this weekend. Tomorrow, Busch qualifying at 6, then Nextel Cup practice at 7:30 on FX, followed by Busch Series racing on FX. Sunday, it's NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, then Dodge Safe Mart 350 from Sonoma, followed by NASCAR Victory Lane right here on Speed. New leader in front of the field. Well, he's been up there before, but he took the spot away from Johnny Benson. Let's take a look at how.
Here they are. They're going to be coming off. That's turn number 1 right there. You see the lap truck of Robert Richardson on the inside. Johnny's going to decide to go to the inside. He's got to wait for Richardson to get out of the way. Ron Hornaday just blast by on the outside. Watch. The 60 truck is going to come in here too, Kenny.
And now because of the 23 of Johnny Benson running so low, picking up debris, watch what happens. He goes sliding up. Here comes Sprague. And that's because Johnny Benson was so low that he was picking up marbles and dirt on his tires.
You know, Kenny, we talk about when you get up out of the groove on the outside where you get the marbles. If you get down below where everyone runs, you're going to get the same thing, and that's what happened to Johnny.
And look at Kelly Girl Sutton here. She's low as she can be, but now it looks like Sprague's almost going to do the same thing to Ron Hornaday.
What's the best thing for Kelly to do right now? I mean, she's got 2 veterans right behind her.
Stay right on the bottom of the racetrack. Let those guys pass you on the outside. That's what NASCAR will tell these drivers in the drivers' meeting. Lap trucks, stay low and let the faster trucks pass you on the outside. That's what she needs to do.
You know something I see right now? I see this race changing. I see Jack Sprague starting to become a competitive truck, meaning fight for the lead. He's had a great truck. Let's see. I mean, he's closing in on these guys now. You know, the sun's set. It's totally dark. The track's cooling down.
It's old school truck series. We got Ron Hornaday in front of Jack Sprague battling for the lead.
You know, Jack Sprague's run here 9 times. He's won one of these races. He's finished second 3 times. He's got a great record here at Milwaukee.
We talked a little bit about pit strategy for Rick Crawford and not taking tires. Krista, how's that working out?
That is not working out well at all. Rick Crawford is praying to see the color yellow. They need a caution so they can get tires on this truck. They did not take tires on that stop, and he is sliding back so fast he cannot believe it. He got on the radio and said, this truck has no grip. Then he asked his crew chief, Cowboy Starlin, where is the leader? He is cautious and concerned about going a lap down. Ray?
Well, Ron Hornaday doesn't want to see a caution at all, Krista, because he's back out front and he has a very, very good racetrack. Now, truck, excuse me. Now, keep in mind when we look back at the record book here at this racetrack, all of the winners of these races, except for one, have led the most laps in the race, and Hornaday certainly on par to do that. He had led up to last 56 whenever Johnny Benson took the lead. He's now back out front, so Hornaday on his way to leading the most laps, and he's got a really good racetrack.
I don't believe I've seen racing like this in a long time. They're 3 wide. Hornaday looks like the old school guy. He's slicing and dicing, Phil. This is awesome racing.
Lapping by the 46 of Craig Kinzer, the 15 of Kyle Krisloff, going to bring Sprague the 60, and Johnny Benson the 23 with him. 1, 2, 3 on the backstretch.
Looks like Johnny Benson's got the tires cleaned off again. He's back up to speed. Terry Cook is back behind these guys 3 seconds in 4th, and then it's Mike Bliss who's in 5th right now, almost 5 seconds back. Side by side there for the lead. Jack Sprague looked to the inside of Ron Hornaday.
There's the 18 right there, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Kenny and I have noticed the last several laps he's been very, very slow down the straightaway. Krista, what's going on with Bobby Jr.?
Well, this is exactly what Bobby Jr. was afraid of a few laps back. They said they thought the battery was fading. That is indeed what is happening. He may be forced to do a stop under green. You know, the ironic thing is, though, he started 35th. He was up as high as 20th, and that is when he thought the truck was under power. Well, now that is exactly what's happening. He is sliding back very fast. They are looking for a caution so they can get a little juice under the hood.
Bad news, Krista. He just got lapped on the racetrack, and he also got passed by some other trucks that will be ahead of him 1 lap down, so he's not even in position for the lucky dog, so he's got some serious problems.
And you know, things have not been going great for Bobby Hamilton Racing. What I'd say to those guys is, listen, Alan Kwiecki taught us this years ago, positive mental attitude. Just keep doing what you're doing. Your truck was fast when you got here. Take care of your tech inspection that cost you your trouble. But tech inspection, Phil, did not cause this. They got, you know, some type of battery problem. But just keep digging, guys. Your win will come. You'll get over this hurdle.
It's been about a half a dozen races since Bobby Jr.'s had a top 10 finish. It was all the way back at St. Louis. There's our leader right there, Ron Hornaday. He's got about a half a second lead over the 60 of Jack Sprague. But I'll tell you, a truck that's on the move is right there to IWX Chevrolet, Mike Bliss. He started way back in the 18th position. He's a former winner here at this racetrack, guys, and he's moved up into the top 5.
Mike Bliss won this race back in 1998. And, well, it just so happened that Jack Sprague was on the pole in that race. Krista.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. has brought his Dodge down to pit road. They do need to find some horsepower for this truck. They had a battery fading. They are making some adjustments while they're down here as well. Right now they're filling it up with that Sunoco fuel. They're making the tire changes, and it looks like they're pulling out from underneath the truck. Let me see if I can get a better look. Yeah, they're doing something over there by the left rear. His crew is frantically underneath the hub of the left rear. They've got 2 guys down in there making some adjustments, some changes. They've also got a guy up front taping up, putting a little bit of a patch up there on the front fender. Guys?
Krista, you're right. What a horrible break for Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Bobby Hamilton Racing. But Kenny, we were talking about how tough it's been. What a great run Bobby Labonte had in one of Bobby Hamilton's trucks last week at Michigan. Had a good, strong top 5 finish. The first top 5 this year by any Dodge last week at Michigan for Bobby Labonte in Bobby Hamilton's truck.
Really made it shine. And Krista was talking about that work taking place back there by the left rear. That's where the battery is. And so if you're wondering what they're doing, they talk about a battery problem. That's where the batteries are on these trucks.
Yeah, right in front of the left rear tires where the battery is. And we see Bobby Hamilton, the Fastenal Dodge, moving back towards the racetrack.
Yeah, as we watch Bobby Hamilton Jr. take off here, I was watching the truck race last week. And I listened to Bobby Labonte say, listen, it's not really fair to compare me with Bobby Hamilton Jr. because this truck has some tricks underneath of it. Phil, do you know what he was talking about? I think that when Bobby Hamilton or Bobby Labonte said his truck's a little trickier, they might have been trying a little something. Whatever it was, he ran good, Bobby Labonte did.
They probably use that as a bit of a test session because, you know, we talked so much about it, and you've got a lot of experience with a coil bind situation. That means these trucks and the cars will actually get in the corner, and their trucks will actually have the spring coils touch each other. Coil bind, trying to get these trucks right down to the bottom of the racetrack as we watch the 51 of Johnny Sauter. There's the 17 of David Rudeman. Trouble.
Here comes the caution flag. We've got a caution just coming out of turn number 4. It was Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that Fastenal Dodge that looked as though he got spun around.
Yeah, we were watching David Rudeman and Johnny Sauter, the 51 running, and they just all of a sudden seized up coming off the corner. Bobby Hamilton Jr. got turned around right in front of them.
Well, Rick Crawford right now is breathing a sigh of relief saying, wow, that was so lucky we didn't go a lap down. He was 4 trucks away from being lapped. And Rick Crawford's running very strong.
It's been 38 laps since those other trucks were on pit road with tires. Let's see if we can take a look first at what happened to Bobby Jr. This is onboard coming off turn number 4 right here. Looked like he just got in the throttle and spun the wheels a little bit, Kenny, and around it went.
That's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And I'll tell you why. Because it just sounded like the truck just lit up. I mean, he come off the pit road. That was turn 4. So he knew what he had.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. bringing that Dodge down pit road. The lucky dog goes to Boston Reed, number 25. He'll get a lap back. Welcome back to the Toyota Tundra Milwaukee 200 from the Milwaukee Mile. Our third caution of the night has come out because Bobby Hamilton Jr. got spun around, and all the trucks on the lead lap came down pit road. Ray Dunlap, what happened with Ron Hornaday?
Well, Hornaday decided to come down here and get some tires on it. You know, they originally thought they weren't going to pit here, and at the last second, Wally Rogers said, yeah, let's go ahead, bring this thing down in here. They made a couple of adjustments, just a little bit of a hang up on the left front for him. He lost a few spots on pit road, but that's because a lot of the guys that came on to pit road didn't take tires. Lots of guys were taking fuel only, like the 16 of Mike Bliss. He got fuel and no tires. What happened on your end, Krista?
Well, that's exactly what Johnny Benson did. Johnny Benson came in fuel only, no tires for the 23. Jack Sprague, meanwhile, a little bit of a scary situation down in his pit stall. An official actually got clipped by his truck. I just ran down here, asked the official if he's okay. He gave me a nod. He looked a little shaken up. The other official with him said, nah, he's fine.
There they are. You see the official right there. He thought they were going to change 4 tires. They only changed right side tires. He was going to go around to the left side of the truck to watch them change left sides. Jack took off. Nothing Jack did wrong. He's supposed to leave when the guys got done changing the right side tires, but fortunately the official is okay.
Wow. That was a case of the official just didn't get out of the way quick enough. That looked pretty bad, but it ended up being a highlight reel.
That's right.
It ended up being a highlight reel.
Here's our pit summary. David Rudeman, the 17, looks like he stayed out. He's got our lead. Krista, what's going on with Rudeman?
Well, I'm actually surprised he stayed out. He's been complaining that he needs help in the front of the truck. No front grip and tight on the exit. But obviously pit strategy playing out here. He's trying to just get a little bit of lead laps. Remember, he moved into second in points last week too. So maybe he's points racing a little. I think it's a little early in the year for that, especially when you've got no front grip, Ray.
Well, Krista, David Reagan is 14th right now. They had a pretty good pit stop, but the officials caught him for speeding off pit road, so he is going to come back in for a penalty stop there. He will lose his track position there. Number 6 truck too fast leaving pit road.
Guys, we saw that pit summary, and it's a little bit deceiving. You know, David Rudeman obviously was running 9th when the caution came out, did not pit, stayed on the racetrack. Mike Bliss, as we were told, took only fuel. He came out 2nd. Jack Sprague took right side tires. We saw that. Clipped an official. He came out 3rd. Johnny Benson also got fuel only. He came out 4th, and Dennis Setzer came out in the 5th position.
Phil, the only thing that worries me about what I see is we went 40 laps, okay, just then. Now, this racetrack has a green look to it, okay? So Rudeman is only going to be able to go, you can only run about 90 laps here. I don't know about this pit strategy at this particular racetrack.
Kenny, we ran 38 laps before all the leaders pitted the first time on that caution flag. Rick Crawford stayed out. or did not put any tires on, and he got all the way within 4 trucks of being lapped. But that's the same thing that Mike Bliss's crew and Johnny Benson's crew was watching, yet we ran the same amount of laps before this pit stop, maybe even a couple more, and they just chose not to put tires on. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of track position they can hold.
Let's see what happens. David Rudeman out in front of the field, coming back to the restart. We're back under green flag conditions.
And boy, this is going to be interesting to see who has new tires and what.
Smoke. We got problems. I don't know if he was on the brakes or what. That was the 51 of Johnny Sauter, smoking it going into turn number 1.
Way up high, out of the groove, coming off turn number 2. Now he's in the middle of the backstretch. Now he's got a lot of, there he is right there. Got a lot of debris in his tires. Let's watch when he gets down to turn number 3. Let's see if he can stay there on the outside. He does, even though he had the debris on the tires, but he lost a number of positions. Johnny was running 8th when they took that restart. We'll see where he comes by the start-finish line now. He's going to drop all the way to the 13th position. Lost 5 positions there in that one corner.
And you know his crew is saying, "Are you okay, buddy?" And he's going, "Hold on here. Let me get going."
I'll let you know in a minute.
Yeah.
Trouble. Problems on the backstretch. Looks like the 13 of Kerry Earnhardt.
Boy, a couple guys did a terrific job getting by him. He spun right off the corner, right in front of a lot of the field there, and a couple guys did some great work to get by.
And what type of commentating did I just do, Phil? I was going, whoa, ho.
You were riding along.
That's what I felt. You know, I was like, my gosh, this guy's spinning out in front of the whole field, and they all missed him. What a great job of driving by everybody.
Kerry Earnhardt spinning, coming off of turn number 2. As you mentioned, didn't look like any contact made.
David Rudeman, Mike Bliss, 2 of the trucks. Rudeman stayed out. Bliss took fuel only. They maintained the top 2 positions. Jack Sprague has not been able to get by, even though he has fresher right side tires. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened to Kerry. Watch the middle. He had a little contact right there. It might have been David Starr, but look at all these trucks go every which way.
Oh!
Wow.
Well, what a great job by Steve Park on the outside. I can't watch them all before wide, Kenny.
Now I know why you were going, ooh, oh, wow.
Steve Park, man, what a great driver. I mean, let's watch it again here. Look to the right of your screen.
See Brendan duck to the inside, and a lot of trucks. Wow, how about that white truck right in the middle? I'm not sure. Was that maybe Eric Darnell did a great job avoiding him on the inside.
Right along with Bobby Jr. See what he saw.
There's Rick Crawford, the 14 truck on the inside. Whoa, you saw Steve Park lock the brakes up for just a minute, just barely avoided Kerry Earnhardt.
And you know, one thing I learned from Kenny Schrader years ago, Bobby Hamilton Jr. 4 laps down. Now, you know he wants to get back in the mix somehow, but he's riding in the back, and he almost gets in a wreck 4 laps down. You know, that's a tough spot to be in for Bobby Hamilton.
Now, we talk about flat spotting tires, and right there we saw a number of trucks lock their tires up. Could they potentially have flat spotted their tires, and will that cause a problem later in the race?
They definitely can, but as we can see right there, there's Chad McCumbee, the 07. He is our Aaron's lucky dog. As you see him drive by the field, he will get a lap back. He will be able to drive the 1 mile around this Milwaukee Mile and be back on the lead lap. Great run 2 races ago for Chad McCumbee at Texas, top 10.
And talking about flat spotting tires, you know, as a race car driver, you put in a lot of time learning, you know, going through a lot of situations. When that wheel starts vibrating, that means you got a true flat spot, and you do need to come in. Ray, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, just wanted to tell you about Brendan Gaughan there, Kenny. I'll tell you what, things got pretty wild on the backstretch. He's got a little bit of a damage there to his Jasper Dodge, but they came on the radio and says, "Hey, Brendan, what'd you see back there?" He says, "Well, we were 8 wide, and I was right in the middle of it." So he says, eventually somebody's going to run into me.
Ray, you're exactly right. That's why I said I couldn't watch them all. They were at least 4 wide, Kenny.
Yeah, the restarts on a flat racetrack. You know, you go to Dover, you got banking. You go to Charlotte, you got banking. Restarts are just totally wicked at Milwaukee, because I call it a scrub track. You know, where you're just scrub patch. You're just sliding across the track. You have no grip, and restarts can get pretty wild. Tires are cold. Got a lot of debris on them.
Looks like most consistently running well today has been Jack Sprague and Johnny Benson. Those 2 trucks in the top 4 right now. A couple of trucks coming down pit road. Chris Devoto.
Well, guys, Johnny Sauter having the problem, exactly what you were talking about, flat spotting the tires. Had to make a tricky stop there because Justin Ellier in the 63 was in as well. But Johnny Sauter flat spotted those tires, avoiding that spin. They did not want to have to come in. Richie Waters was saying, buddy, just stay out as long as you can. We've got to save those stickers. Johnny said, I've got to come in. So they decided together to come in to get these 4 fresh tires. They're obviously putting some fuel in it as well, but he's in his pit stall a little sideways because he had to avoid that 63 truck. The jack is down. Johnny Sauter is away.
Johnny Sauter coming off pit road. Bill Lester coming on to pit road, and this is why he had to come in and take those tires off, because of flat spotting coming into turn 1.
Right there, a lot of the black streak, and he was flat spotting tires.
We'll be back with more from Milwaukee. Our 5th different leader at the Milwaukee Mile, now out front, Mike Bliss, and that IWX Chevrolet has taken the point.
Remember lap 78, he came in the pits, did not take any tires. The 17 of David Ruderman stayed out. Look at this 2-3 wide racing for a moment. There's the 99 of Eric Darnell, the 14 of Rick Crawford. There's Kerry Earnhardt, the 13, the 6 of David Reagan, who had to incur a penalty of speeding on pit road on 2 cautions ago. He's trying to make up some ground.
3 Fords lining up, nose to tail. Now it's 4 Fords actually. Bobby East, Eric Darnell, Rick Crawford, and David Reagan are 17th through 20th.
There's Steve Park, the 59 truck. There's 3 wide racing. Look at David Starr on the inside of the 30 of Todd Bodine.
Starr's trying to take a position away from a truck he used to drive a year ago.
That's a battle for 8th. Again, they're 3 wide.
Here they come down the front stretch. Eric Almirola on the outside. Somebody's got to give. Ray, what's going on with Eric?
Well, he had to give right there, because remember, he's having a brake issue here now. Crew Chief Dave McCarty told him, remember to pump those brakes 2 or 3 times, and we have a yellow on the racetrack.
5th caution has come out. Robert Richardson in the number 1 slowing, going through 1 and 2.
See a left rear tire down on that truck. Looks like some damage to the left side of the truck, so somebody probably got into him and cut down his left rear tire.
5 cautions coming out at the Milwaukee Mile. A lot different than a year ago when we only had 1. Out in front now, it's Mike Bliss leading the field at Milwaukee. Tonight's Fast and All flashback takes us back 2 years ago. Ted Musgrave, piloting the number 1 Mopar Dodge for owner Jimmy Smith, became the first repeat winner at the Milwaukee Mile. Ted Musgrave, the only repeat winner in Milwaukee. Tonight's Fast and All flashback.
Ted Musgrave right there, as you can see, 2006, first 6 races, his average finish was 3.0. You see his last 4 races, 16th, 18th, 7th at Texas, and a 23rd last week at Michigan. Trying to rebound right now, trying to get that season back on track. He's still 3rd in the points, only 3 points out of 2nd.
We talk about Musgrave having a drought, but still, as you mentioned, 3rd in the points, not too bad. Kyle Krisiloff, our Aaron's lucky dog, he will take his number 15 and grab 1 lap back, so he will be scored in 27th position. There are 27 on the lead lap. Ray Dunlap.
Hey Rick, let me just finish up that story on Eric Almirola. He's currently in 10th here. They had to change a master cylinder for the brakes on this truck whenever they were done with practice earlier today, and he said that's still the problem here. So Dave McCarty reminded him, pump the brakes a couple of times. What they think is maybe one of the rotors is out of round, and that pushes the pads back away. So that's why he's having an experience with brake problems. But Eric Almirola is still hanging in the top 10, even though his truck's giving him some problems.
Guys, this is a racetrack where you use a lot of brake getting down in the corner, Kenny. Then you want to get off the brake and roll through the center, but you've got to, this racetrack is so flat, no banking in the corners. You go up to 150 miles an hour on the straightaway, you got to use those brakes.
And as we go green flag, we're going to watch these guys 3 wide. We're going to see if they have their brakes, because this is when you need them.
Whoa, it's right there. We were on board with the 11, watching the 11 of David Starr. We saw him get a little bit loose, got kicked out into Matt Crafton.
The 75 of Eric Almirola made some contact with the 11 of David Starr, and that turned him into the 88 of Matt Crafton. Look at the damage to the Menard Chevrolet.
That'll be a disappointment for Matt Crafton. Had just come off a 5th place finish a week ago, which was his 2nd best finish of the year.
And you know what? The reason I think we're having so, now he's mad. He is mad right now. He knows his day is done. He's dragging that truck around. There's going to be debris everywhere. It's going to be a lot more laps to get this track cleaned up. NASCAR does not like that, I can tell you that.
Let's take a look at it. We saw the 75 of Eric Almirola dive to the inside. You see him right there, makes it 3 wide. And as they drive down the corner, he makes some contact and gets the 11 of David Starr wiggling, and then he hits the 88, turns him around right at the worst possible spot, entering the corner. He makes some pretty hard contact with a new safer barrier.
So those 3 trucks, I'm going to check to see if they've got any extensive damage like the 88 has. David Starr was running well. We'll see how he does at the end. And speaking of Craftsman, I believe Ray Dunlap is about to do our Craftsman Tools of the Trade.
Well, absolutely, Rick. You know, most of the guys down here in the pit area want to wear gloves because these trucks are pretty hot when they come in. So lots of guys will have gloves, especially when they're doing pit stops and everything, right? It's just a regular set of gloves. Oh, absolutely not. When it comes to Craftsman, what are they going to do? They're going to make a better glove. Check this little button out, right? When I do that, what's it do? It gives me an extra work light to bring right to the work job whenever I'm doing. Now look at this. If I get in here and I can't see my lug nuts, all I got to do is use my light that's on the front of this glove, and it makes it so I can see whatever I'm working on. Down inside an engine, this is really cool, right? Well, what are you going to do with these whenever you need to put them somewhere? Well, with the package comes the little glove storage system. So what do? I just take, oh boy, I'm not going to be able to take that off with my gloves on, am I? Well, what I got to do is take that glove loose. Here, unstrap that glove for me. And when I get that glove off, we'll take that one off. And all I got to do is take the storage system, put it right here on my toolbox. And then whenever I have my glove, I'll always know where it's at because I just go like that. And my gloves are hanging out whenever I need them. And when it's dark, all you got to do is flip on the light.
And we would expect you wouldn't have to do this with a microphone in your hand. So we're going to give Ray the benefit of the doubt there.
And the storage system would have already been on the toolbox.
Exactly.
Too.
Our Aaron's lucky dog goes to Aaron Crocker in the number 98. So she's the benefactor this time around.
That will put 27 trucks on the lead lap. Aaron will restart this race in 27th spot as we get ready for the restart.
That dog looks like Darrell Waltrip. Hey, Darrell, come here, boy.
I was going to say, you're throwing that. I'm pretty sure he threw you into the dog suit last week.
I'm getting him back because he told me at Michigan he thought that was Kenny Wallace. And here we go, getting ready to go green flag. Let's see if we can go green about 5 laps.
We're about to reach the halfway point. When we go across the start-finish line, that's 99 laps. Out in front, it's Mike Bliss. Jack Sprague will go to the outside. We'll see if Sprague can take over the point.
Trying to do it just like Mike Bliss did. He made his pass on the outside to get the lead over. He's on the outside, side by side.
Down the back stretch, Jack Sprague knows it just in front of Bliss. Now Sprague with the preferred line. He will take over the top spot.
Remember, that's 2 fresh right side tires on the 60 truck of Jack Sprague. Fuel only last pit stop for the 16 IWX Chevrolet of Mike Bliss.
And this is the 3rd time Sprague has led in 2006. But it's the first time he's led since race 2 in California. So guys, he's feeling good about this.
He knows how to lead laps around this racetrack. 8th time he's been out in front of the field here in Milwaukee.
Well, he's a short track king. You know, he grew up in Michigan around Grand Rapids, and this is where he cut his teeth.
There's Dennis Setzer right there, our 5th place truck.
You said track masters. And we go right to Dennis Setzer. That guy can really wheel it around a short track.
Dennis is another one of the trucks that only took 2 tires on his last pit stop. Dennis, Krista, what's going on with Dennis?
No adjustments on that stop. Also, you're right, he did only take 2 tires. He's been very happy with the handling of his truck. No adjustments at all. The spotter, very chatty, just reminding him it's a short track, plenty of patience. Not that Dennis Setzer needs to be reminded of that. He is a former winner here. In fact, our defending winner.
Dennis Setzer really stumped the show up a little bit last year, too.
He sure did. We only had 1 caution flag, and he was a dominant truck, especially in the second half of the race. Did a great job of winning that race. There's the 18 truck of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Several laps down. Now he's 4 laps down. Obviously had that trouble, had to change battery under green flag conditions. There's the 30th Ty Bodine. He's going to try to take over the 6th spot from Dennis Setzer.
And there are so many different agendas. That's why we see everybody going and coming, some people not taking tires, just, you know, Craftsman truck style, trying to save those tires for the end of the race.
Kenny, if we can run 8 or 10 more laps now, that will get everyone in their pit window. No, so the trucks that didn't take any tires, like Mike Bliss and Johnny Benson, who remains in the 3rd position, then they'll come in, they can maybe make their final pit stop, and by virtue of the fact that they didn't put tires on last time, they'll have an extra set of tires for maybe a 30 or 40 lap shootout if they feel like they can give up track position for that.
And Phil, these guys in the top 10 right now are sitting pretty. They don't need anything to happen. 97 laps to go. There's Skinner hanging tough on the outside. He's a short track ace. He's not going to give it to you easy.
There's Ted Musgrave. That's the inside of Mike Skinner, the Team ASE Toyota. Ted's currently in 10th, looking to try to take over the 9th spot from Mike Skinner. There's the 8th place truck right there, the 75 of Eric Almirola. Remember, we saw him get involved in a little incident with David Starr and Matt Crafton. Doesn't appear to be any damage to that 75 truck.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you get on that inside, you got to be careful. You don't slide up into somebody, so it's important as a driver to know where you're at, you know, so you don't get in there too hard. You know, Bobby Allison taught me that years ago, Rick. Know where you're at. Don't go in the corner and slide up into somebody.
I know where one truck is at. That 14 of Rick Crawford is moving up toward the front. We talked about how he had problems by not changing tires, dropped all the way back, almost was lapped. He was 4 trucks away from being lapped. Now he's broke back into the top 10, so that truck's working very well for Crawford.
Mike Bliss staying right with the 60 of Jack Sprague. Mike Bliss again doing this with 4 tires that he put on back on lap number 38. Looks to the inside, not quite room that time. Jack Diamond the racetrack. That means he moved up in the center, turned back down to the bottom to get a straight run off the corner, cut off Mike Bliss.
And I'll tell you, that's where you have a spotter, okay? If I'm Jack Sprague, I look in my mirror and go, no, he's not there. Boom, he's there. As you see Johnny Benson. Here comes Johnny Benson again. He's not done, guys. He's hungry.
Remember, Johnny's another one of the trucks that took fuel only on his last pit stop. So we have 2 of the 3 trucks running 1, 2, 3 right now that only took fuel. The other one, our leader, Jack Sprague, took 2 tires on his last pit stop.
One thing I like about Mike Bliss's truck, the 16, his truck is really getting through the middle. He can really chop the corner and run around, and here's David Rudeman running good.
Rudeman currently 2nd in our point standings. Look at the run Ryan Moore had on David Rudeman coming up there behind him.
Yeah, Ryan's being shown 1 lap down right now. As you see David Rudeman's serial, he was 13th back in lap 21, took the lead over when he stayed out, lap number 84. Now he's running in the 4th position on lap number 107. How's David doing, Krista?
Well, he's kind of just hanging in there right now. Yeah, he's not running as quick a lap times as those top 3 trucks. He is complaining of being very tight in the center. That is the same problem he had early in the race. Remember, he had also been complaining of no front grip. So when the caution comes out, if it comes out again, he is definitely going to need some adjustments and some fresh tires, Ray.
Well, Krista, Mike Skinner is really not happy with his truck. On the first pit stop at lap 37, they pulled a couple of rubbers out of the left rear to try to loosen that thing up a little bit. He's just been tight, but believe it or not, it didn't really help him at all, and he's been extremely tight right in the center of the corner. Skinner saying they need some other kind of an adjustment because what they've done earlier on the pit stops just didn't help.
There we see Mike Skinner right there. He's battling the 6th truck of David Reagan. Mike's currently 12th. David Reagan looks to the inside, Ray, right where you talked about him being tight, center of the corner. He couldn't get back to the throttle. David Reagan just drove by on the inside.
And I've talked to Mark Martin about David Reagan. He drives for Roush. They say this guy can drive fast. They're trying to get him calm down, pull the reins back a little bit. They want that David Reagan to finish more races. Mark says he's fast. He can go fast.
There's Marcus Ambrose, the 20 truck Team Australia, moves to the inside of Mike Skinner. Mike is really struggling with that truck right there. We've got 89 laps to go right now. I think if we get a caution right now, just about everyone would get in their pit window. I think Mike Skinner would love to see a caution flag.
11 laps ago, Mike Skinner restarted this race in 7th position. Now he's dropped all the way back to 15th position.
They're continuing to lose positions. The 4 of Timothy Peters drove by him. The 12 of Joey Miller right now is side by side trying to take over another spot.
You know, when you have a good handling truck, running on old tires is fine. But now when you're like Skinner, where your truck's not doing what you want it to do, you need another set of tires more than everybody else, you know, to stay in the hunt. Because right now he's dropping like a rock because his truck is not handling as good as he needs it to be. Now the top 3 are just rolling on. Ray Dunlap, what do you have down there, buddy?
Well, Kenny, I want to talk a little bit about Ron Hornaday. You know, he led so much of this race earlier. Well, they put scuff tires on this truck on lap 78, but they've got a good set of stickers here in the pits ready for the next pit stop. But Hornaday is slowly picking people off, and he's moved up to 5th position right now. I guess my question for you guys in the booth is, what do you think about Bliss and Rudeman, those guys' strategy of not getting tires? How long will it be that they can stay out ahead of these guys that have the fresh tires? Hornaday picking his way through the field, and he knows he's got a good set of tires left in the pits.
Yeah, I think it's going to be okay, Ray, because obviously they're keeping good track position. There's a 0.8 of Chris Wimmer. He's very, very slow in the race. The caution is out. I think this will bring everybody down pit road, get him in their pit window. But Mike Bliss and Johnny Benson, who both got fuel-only race, stayed up in the 2nd and 3rd position. Jack Sprague stayed in the lead with 2 tires, so it worked for him.
They pitted back on lap 80, so they've gone enough laps, you know, where they're looking good now. They got good trucks. You see Chris Wimmer stalled, maybe a battery. He has no power. We watched him down on power as he came down the front straightaway. You can see him flipping switches. He's looking for a push truck now, Phil.
Yeah. We saw a glimpse of Ryan Moore in the 40 truck racing with David Ruderman. He is our first truck not on the lead lap, so he will get the lucky dog. And it looks like he's got a pretty good truck, because you see him right there behind the 17 of David Ruderman. He will be our Aaron's lucky dog right there, Ryan Moore. So he was able to stay with David Ruderman. That means now he's going to get his lap back. He's got a pretty good truck right now.
With a little bit of pit strategy, some way or another, you know, with some 70, 80 laps to go here, he can work his way up there to a top 15.
Kenny, I don't think there's going to be any pit strategy. I think they're all coming in here just as soon as pit road opens, which is probably going to be right now. And I think they'll all put 4 tires on and try to have enough stuff to go to the end of the race.
Here comes the field down pit road, led by Jack Sprague in the number 60. Krista.
His crew chief, Tony Furr, calling him in up on the pit box. Jack Sprague pulls his Toyota in. This was the track where the Weiler team debuted last year, not with Jack Sprague as a driver. Jack Sprague now looking, though, for that win. They're making some small adjustments. 1 round of bite, 2 rounds up on the track bar. The team looking very strong, very solid so far. They're saying be very careful as you leave 1 lane. And Ray.
The number 16 of Mike Bliss is in. Routine stop so far. Just a little tiny hang up for the left front tire changer to get there. They get that one hung on there. Everything going fine. It looks like Bliss is going to lose a few spots on pit road. Ron Hornaday also there in the number 33. He was just a little tight in the center.
What a crowded pit road down there. We saw a lot of teams have to slam on the brakes to avoid people pulling out of their pits.
Very tight pit road, and we saw a lot of jockeying for position. We will shake it all out when we come back to the Milwaukee Mile after this. Great evening for racing. The lights on at the State Fairgrounds side of the Milwaukee Mile, the oldest running racetrack in the world.
And you know, these lights are not permanently put in here. The Milwaukee Mile puts a lot of effort into this racetrack to make this a great event. Big 2-day show, the NASCAR Busch Series tomorrow night, but you know, this is really nice to have this place lit up like this.
I love racing at night anyway. I'm sure, Kenny, all of us grew up racing. We love to race at night. The trucks look faster on the racetrack. And we've got a situation now. David Starr has taken over the lead because he did not stop. You can see our pit summary. Jack Sprague came in first, came out 6th. Mike Bliss came in 2nd. We heard he had a little bit of a hang up on pit road, came out 10th. Johnny Benson in 3rd, out 8th. David Ruderman in 4th, out 11th. And Ron Hornaday in 5th, out 5th. But David Starr, the 11 truck, stayed on the racetrack.
Let's see how long David Starr can stay in front of this field. Starr became the 7th different truck to lead here at the Milwaukee Mile tonight. Again, behind him in 2nd is Todd Bodine, but it doesn't look like it's going to be for long. Here comes Todd Bodine on the inside. That's a pass for the lead.
Side by side for the lead. Todd's going to have the preferred line on the bottom of the racetrack. Remember, he pitted on this most recent caution flag. David Starr stayed out on the racetrack. Side by side off of 4.
Todd Bodine coming off of a 4th place finish in Michigan, looking to get back into victory lane. for the 4th time in 2006.
Well, he's got the lead right now, and he should have enough fuel to go the rest of the way. There we go.
Joey Miller in the 12 getting spun around, clipping one of the trucks.
Just made slight contact with the 4 of Timothy Peters. Let's see if he gets going. Caution flag is out. See a little bit of damage to the left front of the Curb Records Toyota of Joey Miller.
Let me ask you professionals, now do we see David Starr come in?
Well, I don't know why. If he's going to come in now, he had a chance to pit 5 laps to go, but I think he probably is. Maybe they felt like they didn't have enough fuel mileage, good enough fuel to make it to the rest of the way, and they needed a few more laps. Let's take a look at what happened here. Looks like the 60 of Jack Sprague is going to move to the inside of the 12 of Joey Miller. He's going to slot up. He makes contact, Kenny, in the center of the corner.
You know, earlier in the show, I said it's so important on short tracks. Remember what I told you Bobby Allison taught me? Know where you're at when you enter the corner. Jack Sprague, a great race car driver, dove it down in there to complete his pass, but yet he slid up in to Joey Miller. And I mean, that's just the way short track racing goes.
Kenny, 8 tires is better than 4.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, that's what Bobby Allison said. He said 8 tires are better than 4. You know, if you trust the guy you're racing, you pass him on the outside. If you don't trust him, you make the move on the inside, Phil, so you can knock him out of the way.
Well, you know, Kenny, you talked about this earlier about the different lines coming into the corner. If we look at this again, look at how close Jack Sprague is to that wall that you talked about.
Well, you know, this is the Milwaukee Mile. Let's look at the wall to the left. Here he goes.
Right there.
Right there. Look at that. Now he can reach out there and he can touch that wall, but he had a bad angle. So now he slides up and he abuses that poor boy. And here he is, a slide for life. This is where Dale Earnhardt taught me, okay, I've knocked you sideways, now you got to save it. And Joey runs out of room.
Krista.
Boy, is David Starr and the 11 team breathing a sigh of relief. You wonder why they didn't come in on that last caution, because they didn't have the tires ready. They were sitting here praying and hoping for a caution. When that caution just came out, Jamie Jones on the top of that pit box pumped his fist in the air like he just won the race. This may be the only way they could have done so, guys.
Krista, that's great that they got in there to get his tires on, but he lost so much track position. That takes him completely out of contention, doesn't it, Ray?
Well, yeah, and look at Joey Miller here, because he was 4th whenever he got spun out there on the racetrack. Now, if you look real close at the left front valence there, they have some damage. Now, they're going to try to put some Bear Bond, which is like a big old piece of duct tape on there, to try to get this thing solid back up. But they see there, you got the jack underneath it. They pull it up tight. You got to raise this thing a bunch, because if he gets that turned underneath there, it could get under that left front tire, blow it out, and then they'd really have big problems.
And, you know, even though this is a short track, you're running some really big speeds here. Aerodynamically, NASCAR has changed so much. I mean, if you just knock a hole in that left front, you're not. I'm not saying you're done, but look, he's ruined right there.
Look at the splitter down there, which creates so much downforce. It's pushed up 2-3 inches above where it's supposed to be. So he's really going to be at an aero disadvantage on the front end of that truck.
That's just the era our sport is in right now. I mean, aerodynamically, you know, throughout the years, the truck series is, you know, between Ford and Dodge and Chevy, everybody's looking for a little bit of advantage. He just lost his advantage with that wicker bill down there, because now it's gone. There's Terry Cook, number 10.
Mike Skinner, number 5. Kenny, look at this just a few moments ago. This is after the caution came out. See, that's Mike Skinner right there. There's Terry Cook, the 10 right in front of him. You can see them jockeying for position. They get slowed down and seized up, and Skinner makes some pretty hard contact with the 10 of Terry Cook. Fortunately, both of them were able to maintain control. We saw a glimpse of Joey Miller, who was against the inside wall right to their left.
That's a case of I give Terry Cook in that Power Stroke diesel Ford an attaboy, because look, Skinner hit him. Terry Cook saved it. Good job by Terry Cook.
But it was a chain reaction deal. It's not something you want to throw stones at Mike Skinner about. They saw that truck against the inside wall. Everyone in front of Terry Cook slowed down. When Terry slowed down, Mike wasn't able to quickly. He made some pretty hard contact, but fortunately, Terry maintained control and stayed in his position.
And here we are, getting ready to go green again. Lap 122, and I'm all excited, Rick. By gosh, here we go.
They happen pretty fast around here, Kenny. As a matter of fact, Ron Hornaday set the track record today in qualifying. 122 miles an hour was the average around this mile. So you're right. They are moving real quick around here, and things happen fast. Green flag back look out, it's Todd Bodine in front of the 75 of Eric Almirola. Yes, I said it. Eric Almirola, a rookie, out in front, right behind Todd Bodine.
There's a 33 of Ron Hornaday. He's been so strong this entire race. We know Ron got 4 tires. We're not sure. We feel like the 75 of Eric Almirola did a little pit strategy to get some track position. There's Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the inside. There's Ron Hornaday, our 3rd place truck, trying to make his way by the lap truck of Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Boy, I tell you what, this has got that Ron Hornaday, Kevin Harvick Incorporated look to it. I think he's going to make a challenge to win this race tonight, that 33 truck, as he peaks underneath the 75. But he's looking strong, Phil.
Good run through the center of the corner for the 60 of Jack Sprague, too. He was 3-4 truck lengths behind right there. Got a good run through the center of the corner, 1 and 2. Drove right up on their bumper. Great, what's going on with Eric?
Well, I just want to let you know they did not take tires on that last pit stop. They did just get fuel only, so a little bit of a gamble. You were right. They were trying for the track position, but right now the number 33 has made his way around Eric Almirola, and there goes Sprague for position.
He made the same move that he did earlier on Joey Miller. He enters the corner so shallow, he drives so straight into the corner that he has to slide up in the middle. Fortunately, Eric in the 75 gave him some room. He was able to make the pass without making any contact.
Well, you got to know when somebody's underneath of you, and you got to give them a little extra room. You know, you cannot hold somebody tight down. Now, I'm watching Kevin Harvick's truck of Ron Hornaday. Look as he goes into the corner. They got that nose perfectly sealed to the ground. Oh, look at this. Hornaday on him.
All over the back tailgate of the 30. Going to move to the inside. Good run through the center of the corner. Going to get up side by side with the 30 for the lead.
Let's watch the left front scrape. Look at the sparks. That means that nose is perfectly sealed, real low. Kevin Harvick took that truck over to RCR, and they've got that thing rolling now because they've got the front end worked out on it. Look, this guy's 48 years old. He didn't just learn how to drive. These guys are on a roll. Give a lot of credit to Kevin Harvick and Delana for getting this truck rolling.
Ron Hornaday now takes the top spot away from Todd Bodine. Is something wrong with that truck, Krista?
Yeah, I guess if you want to talk about old tires, Todd Bodine did not take tires. Another one of those trucks that did not take tires on that stop. They do not have a sticker set left. They do have scuffed tires, but they're trying to make it the distance. They may have to come in for fuel. They should be in their fuel window, though. But yeah, he's definitely sliding back. He's also talking about it pushing worse. He just came on the radio and said that right now. Ron Hornaday has kind of checked out from Todd Bodine.
Krista, you know, we talk about people only taking, as you see, Jack Sprague looks to the outside of the 30 of Todd Bodine, trying to take over the 2nd spot. People are used to watching these Nextel Cup races, Kenny. Every time the caution comes out, they come in and put 4 tires on. Not like that in the Truck Series. They're only allowed 4 sets of tires for the entire weekend, so they have to be very, very judicious on how they keep their tires and when they keep them and when they use them.
David Reagan in number 6 has brought his Ford down, looks like to do some work on.
Yeah, David was having a good run. He had suffered a penalty earlier for speeding on pit road, but still had a pretty good truck here. Got back into pretty good position, but unfortunately, this green flag unscheduled pit stop is going to put him at least 1 lap down.
Johnny Benson throwing the number 23 Toyota into the mix. He's going to go to the outside of Todd Bodine. That's a battle for 3rd position.
We've seen Johnny use that outside before. He's able to use it to his advantage to take over the 3rd spot from Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine backing up Johnny Benson going forward. Now it's Hornaday, Sprague, Benson, Bodine, and Eric Almirola, your top 5. Rounding out the 10, Timothy Peters, Mike Bliss, David Rudeman, Rick Crawford, and Dennis Setzer. They are your top 10 from the Milwaukee Mile. When we come back, 70 laps to go. Wednesday night on Speed, don't miss Pink's. Pride, passion, and titles are all on the line in the ultimate head-to-head quarter-mile matchups. The rules are simple. You lose the race, you lose your ride. Pink's Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Pacific on Speed. Out in front of the field, Ron Hornaday, familiar with that top spot. He's led 79 laps so far around this mile. But taking over 2nd is Johnny Benson. Benson now in 2nd ahead of Jack Sprague.
Benson's a little bit over 1 second behind. He and Ron Hornaday are trading the fastest laps. This last time, Ron Hornaday had the fastest lap. The lap before that, Johnny Benson has had the fastest lap. 4 of our trucks in the top 10 have run their fastest laps of the night in the last 5 laps.
I'll tell you what, Speed is going to take us deeper through the field. And we're going to start with Krista.
Well, I was going to tell you about Dennis Setzer. He had been running 10th. He just took the spot from Timothy Peters. He is now running 9th, so we'll tell you about Peters instead. Timothy Peters has been running very tight, but he is holding on to a top 10 finish right now. That would be huge for this team. Meanwhile, Terry Cook having a great night. Terry Cook actually said his truck, though, was getting a little bit tight in traffic, but he said on that last stop, after his pit stop, his truck was, quote, rocking and rolling, right?
Hey, Krista, what a great night for Bill Lester in that number 22. He's running 12th right now, and he says when we talk about his power steering, he's got about 25% of it left. So he is really doing a good job to hang in there in 12th tonight. How about Johnny Sauter?
Johnny Sauter having a little bit of that trouble with the flat spotting the tires. They lost some track position there. Now he says his truck is really free. They made some adjustments going down on the track bar in 2 rounds out of the right rear on that last stop. A really free truck for number 51, Johnny Sauter.
Marcus Ambrose in the number 20 truck rolls in 14th right now. You know, he told me before this race that he's never been to a track like this, but he does like flat tracks because it's a lot more like what he used to do in road racing over in Australia. He's not been on oval tracks before this season started, and so far, I'd say the kid's learning pretty well. Now, right behind him is Mike Skinner in 15th place right now. Skinner has said he feels like maybe one of his front shocks is starting to give up or maybe broken. So Skinner not able to get through the center of the corners here with a shock problem. How about David Starr?
Well, David Starr, you'll remember, lost some track position when they had to come in for their stop because the tires weren't ready, but so far he's not doing too bad. He's running 16th, and that's actually great for David Starr. Even though they wanted a short track earlier, Martinsville, he and his crew chief, Jamie Jones, said they really haven't gotten a handle on this track. They've been complaining about a tight truck all weekend long, right?
Brendan Gaughan in his number 77, Jasper Dodge is in 17th. Now, when you look at his record here, this has been one of his favorite tracks. He finished 4th, he won a race here and finished 5th, but tonight, things not going so well. He continues to fight a really tight situation. Now, 07 is Chad McCumbee, and they were not very good in practice, but give a call to the crew here as they have continued to adjust on his truck and moved him up into 18th position right now. Bobby Easton, the number 21, working with new crew chief John Monson. They switched Gary Cogswell and John Monson between the 2 trucks over there, and they've made a few changes to try to see what these drivers can learn from these 2 different crew chiefs. Krista?
Well, Steve Park has been pretty quiet tonight. You know, this has been a really good track for him. He actually had a 7th place finish, a top 10 last year. His best finish here was back in 2004 when he finished 4th. But again, he's being relatively quiet on the radio this evening. He too has been tight like most of the trucks have been. They started 24th, currently running 20th.
Let's go a little bit deeper in the field right there. There's a 59 of Steve Park. There's Ted Musgrave, the 9 truck. He is all the way back in the 25th position, racing with the 99 of Eric Darnell for 24th. Remember, 3 out of the last 4 races for Ted Musgrave out of the top 15 in finishes. Ray, how about Ted?
Boy, they are not doing well tonight, Phil. It seems like every adjustment they make doesn't go the way he wants. They put a rubber in the right rear on the first pit stop at lap 37. When they came in at 78, they took those rubbers right back out. Then they made a wedge adjustment. Whenever they got back on the track, Ted said that wasn't any good, so Tom Ackerman says, take that wedge back out when they pit it at 115. Anything they've done to this ASE Toyota just has not made it the way Ted wants it.
Thank you, Ray and Krista.
Dennis Setzer making his way up through the field. Dennis is moving up in the 7th spot. You know, we talked about the 30. There's there's Dennis Setzer right there, the 85. Right behind him, that yellow truck right there, that's Todd Bodine. Remember, he did not take any tires on his last pit stop with 56 laps to go, and he's dropping. He's back down to the 9th position now. Terry Cook has gotten by him in the last lap.
Out in front, Ron Hornaday still leading the field around this mile. It's Johnny Benson who's looking the strongest so far. Jack Sprague in 3rd, Bliss in 4th. Rudeman rounds out the top 5. Rick Crawford looking to get into it. And welcome back. Ron Hornaday now getting by the 02 of Kelly Sutton. Right behind Hornaday, the 23 of Johnny Benson. That is 1st and 2nd on your screen.
He's got company. Johnny Benson has been consistently a little bit faster than the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Johnny's looking for 2 in a row, Kenny.
Ron Hornaday has been slicing through the traffic, and that has been causing Benson to move in on. But look, that's where Benson's just a little bit quicker right in the middle. We're going to have a great race. This is Ted Musgrave getting ready to get lapped. Something happened a lap before. I seen Musgrave slow on the back straightaway, wiggling his truck, Here goes Hornaday on the inside.
Yeah, Ted Musgrave is our 24th place truck right now, getting lapped. Eric Darnell just got lapped a lap or so ago in the 99. He's in 25th as we see Johnny Benson, the 23, trying to make his way around the 9 of Ted Musgrave.
Ted Musgrave currently 3rd in the point standings, dropping back and has now gone a lap down.
As we can see, we saw earlier, the first 6 races of the year, average finish 3.0. 3 of the last 4 finishes outside the top 15. They need currently running 24th. It doesn't look good for him to get another top 15 finish this time. A little bit sideways. You hear me? Had to get out of the throttle, Kenny. Got loose coming off the corner.
And great camera work by Speed TV, because now that gives everybody at home, that tells you why he's struggling. You know, when you get on board and you can hear that throttle, then that tells you here's Darnell in the pits.
Should be an unscheduled pit stop for Eric Darnell, but he'd already lost a lap. He pitted back like everyone else on lap number 115. Should have had enough fuel, but he was dropping so far back, they felt like they needed to come in, put tires on it, and I'm sure make a chassis adjustment.
Check out all these trucks. 3 wide now. Skinner, the 51 of Johnny Sauter, and Eric Almirola in that Spears Manufacturing 75 Chevrolet.
And the reason this race happened was because Todd Bodine is struggling. And when he came off of turn 4, they were all over him. And then they all split him right in front of Mike Skinner on the left-hand side of the screen. There he is. Bodine is struggling right now. He needs tires bad. Look how quick Skinner closes on him.
He's dropped back to the 11th position. You know, even if he catches a caution right now, Kenny, and he's able to put tires on, we've got 23 trucks on the lead lap right now. He's going to lose so much track position because I don't know that the trucks up front are going to stop.
And here's what I struggle with. If I was a crew chief, as we see a fight for the lead, if you do save your tires at this racetrack, it's such a big racetrack that you cannot come flying to the front, because if you restart 20th, it's going to be hard to get back to the front. So this has a look to where you don't change tires and you use track position to win. Ray?
Hey, let's talk fuel mileage just a little bit, Kenny. You know, we had that last set of pit stops at lap 115. So that means they had to go about 85 laps, right? Well, we did have a few laps of caution there, so that should help them. But remember, 1 year ago at this race, Ricky Craven was running really well, and he ran out of fuel in 83 laps. So these guys believe their window is around 85 laps, and they should be fine. But let's add in one more twist to that. Remember, we'll have an attempt at a green-white checkered, possibly. So fuel could be very, very close as we get to the end of this race.
Ray, you're exactly right, Ray. And the few caution laps we saw earlier back on lap number 121, that caution is going to help these guys' fuel mileage. And when Ricky Craven ran out of fuel on lap number 83, that was the first 83 laps of the race, and they had qualifying 2 or 3 laps on that also. So I think everyone should be okay fuel-wise, but Ron Hornaday's got his mirror full of the 23 of Johnny Benson.
Well, one thing I like about Hornaday, you're not going to terrorize him. You know, usually he terrorizes you. I mean, he can terrorize you looking in his rearview mirror. Hornaday, if he's going to get past, Benson's just plain going to pass him. But if the trucks are equal, you're not simply just going to blow by Ron Hornaday.
Now, we've seen Johnny Benson run a higher line, though, than most of the trucks here tonight. Well, other than the 46 there of Craig Kinzer, who ran right up against the wall in turns 1 and 2. But we've seen Johnny Benson run in maybe the second groove, whereas everybody else has been trying to hide down on that low line. Could that benefit Johnny Benson come to the end of the race where he needs to make a pass and can go to the high side?
Well, Ron Hornaday is going to know where Johnny Benson is. If Johnny wants to go to the outside, Ron's going to make it tough for him to pass him on the outside. Ray, how about Ron Hornaday?
Well, Phil, I just want to add, if you look at that truck that's out there in the lead, you'll notice that the only stickers on there say 33 on them. Not one other sticker on that truck. And truck owner Kevin Harvick told us just a week ago that this operation will cease at the end of the year if they do not come up with some sort of sponsorship for Ron Hornaday. You know, we're at that point in the season right now where everybody starts talking about what are you going to be doing next year. Those front 2 trucks up there, the 33 and 23, no stickers on them right now, and that's a bad thing.
Well, Johnny Benson just went by and didn't see any stickers either, but he wasn't looking for stickers. He was looking for the front of this field.
And it was just as I said, if Johnny Benson is going to pass Ron Hornaday, it's going to be done with in a hurry. And man, that's exactly what happened. When he made that pass, it was boom. It was done.
Johnny Benson back out in front of the field. Benson has now led 7 laps, where Ron Hornaday has locked up the most laps led. He'll get 5 bonus points for that.
And man, I bet you if you were listening to Todd Bodine right now, as much of a competitor as he is, you know, oh man, look at that Lester right on his left rear, almost spun him out.
That's a battle right there. 3 wide for position. Battle for 14th. Bill Lester on the inside.
Todd Bodine has to drop back. Krista, what's going on with that 30?
Well, the fact that Kenny Wallace just said if he could listen in on Todd Bodine right now because he's such a competitor, he'd be hard-pressed to understand what exactly he was saying. Todd Bodine is saying absolutely nothing. He has been silent on the radio for the last 15 laps. The spotter has come on a bit. Todd Bodine has not said a word. So, yeah, you can imagine how frustrated he is. In fact, at the start of the race, he was frustrated just because his truck wasn't really turning as well as he wanted in the center. Now, double that frustration, triple it, quadruple it, because he is sliding back fast.
Krista, you're exactly right. Now these are the type of calls that you have to make right to win championships. Fortunately, Todd Bodine has got a big lead in the point thing here, but if this race goes green the rest of the way, he's already fallen out of the top 15. He may fall out of the top 20. He'll probably get lapped before this race is over if this race goes green.
When a driver goes silent, that either means he knows what he's up against or he's just so frustrated he has realized that there's nothing he can say to change this situation right now. Look, it's green flag. He can't come in and pit. So he's got to get the best finish he can because he is your points leader.
Remember back at Mansfield, Kenny, they went about halfway with that 30 truck and the 9 truck. They were running 1-2, came in the pits. When they came back out, they finished 15th and 16th. 15th is Todd's worst finish this year. That was some pit strategy that didn't quite work out, and it looks like the pit strategy, unless he catches a caution really quick, is going to bite him this time too.
Out in front, it's Johnny Benson leading again. A week ago, he was able to win in Michigan, grab his first ever truck race win. Can he do it again tonight in Milwaukee? 9th caution of the night has come out, and we're looking at Todd Bodine right now. The reason for that, he is the reason the 9th caution has come out.
We saw such a torrid battle with the 21 of Bob East. Watch this now. There's Johnny Benson. That's Ron Hornaday trying to get by, trying to put Todd Bodine. He's already a lap down trying to pass by him. You see Bobby East, the 21, staying on the inside. That's a battle for position. Here goes Ron Hornaday, but watch. When Erin Crocker gets there, she's right next to the white line. Todd comes back down the racetrack, makes contact with Erin Crocker, and around he goes. Caution flag comes out.
Okay, now here's where my 2 cents comes in. They're going to say that Todd Bodine, here we go, here's another view. See Todd coming down. He just cuts her off. Not her fault whatsoever. Don't blame it on her because she's a girl, okay? Now they're saying that the 21 is going to get the lucky dog because these two were involved. Well, my point is that, you know, Erin Crocker's just minding her business on the bottom of the track.
The 21 was ahead of her. That's why he's getting the lucky dog.
Well, okay. I'll let that go.
And I got more bad news for you.
What is it?
The Cardinals got beat by the Tigers tonight.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, 10-6. Well, there's your lucky dog. Give him a round of applause. There's old Darrell Waltrip there to the right.
We saw him racing so hard with the 30 of Todd Bodine because that was a race for the lucky dog. He got in front of Todd Bodine. Todd spun. He gets the lucky dog back on the lead lap.
Wow, and I'm going to tell you what. Racing hard like that paid off for him, too, because he ran Todd side by side, but Todd just came down on Erin Crocker. I felt like I had to defend her because, she's always sometimes getting the brunt of things,
Well, a lot of limelight is shown on the 98 and Erin Crocker because she is really kind of forging in new territory, running competitively in this series as well as others. And she's done very well, I think.
We know Todd was having trouble and he was falling back, but Erin had just been lapped, so she ran a long time here, stayed on the lead lap of this race, and again, she was just out of position to get the lucky dog right now because Bobby East was right in front of her.
There she is. She's getting her tires cleaned off. She's still ready to go. She's a racer.
The guys out in front of this one, Johnny Benson, Ron Hornaday, have been running such a torrid pace. There are only 19 trucks now on the lead lap. Krista.
And Todd Bodine is on pit road. He was complaining of his truck bouncing all over. He said the right front was vibrating a little bit. Of course, we knew he was sliding back from those old tires. He asked for the 4 best tires they've got. He also asked for them to open up the right shock a bit. The 18 also went down here. Remember, Bobby Hamilton Jr. has been having trouble all night with that battery problem. So Todd Bodine is going to have to scoot out around him as he gets off pit road, and he's down and away.
Todd Bodine wants to get back out, Kenny. He wants Ray, what's going on down there?
Hey, Ted Musgrave is in, Phil. They're going to put tires on this truck, but these tires they already have 35 laps on them earlier in the race. Musgrave is shown back in 24th position right now. They'll make a chassis adjustment to it, put some fuel in here, but being a lap down at this point and way back in the field, they figured why not try to get at least a little bit fresher tires.
It probably will be a pretty good battle for trying to be the truck in position to get the lucky dog, because we still have 31 laps to go. This thing's not over. These guys are not a contention for a decent finish.
So the crews have done their work. It's back in the driver's hands. And we will come back and watch the green flag fly.
Well, I'm excited.
Well, we're
My
winding
gosh.
down this one.
Here
Kenny.
we go. Is this, 171 laps gone by. Is this where y'all gonna? Oh, this guy's trying to go to sleep, or he's letting air out of that tire.
No.
Well, what's he doing then?
No sleeping.
Is he nervous?
He's just saying, I've put all the effort I have into this team right now. I'm a little bit worn down, but let's see what happens.
That guy just said, "You're on TV, man. Wake up. Bill Davis is looking at you." That's funny.
These crew members, they work extremely hard for these teams.
Yep.
Hey guys, we may have some radio contact with Johnny Benson. Let's see if we can raise Johnny. Hey JB, this is Phil Parsons. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's going a little slower than pit road speed, but thought we were supposed to do 10 over that. But whatever they want.
Johnny Benson, Phil Parsons. Can you hear me?
He may be hitting the mute button.
Yeah, that's probably so. He's going to join us tomorrow, in the booth for the Busch race.
He might want to talk to us a little bit about that.
Hey, JB, Phil Parsons, can you hear me, buddy?
Find out who keeps keying the bike.
We're not going to bother. We're not going to bother him anymore. But he trying for 2 in a row here. There's his crew chief right there, Rick Wren.
Rick Wren saying, "Hey, can we stop the booth from talking to our driver?" Tomorrow on FX, it is the Busch Series AT&T 250 from right here at the Milwaukee Mile. So make sure to tune in. We'll have qualifying on speed for that race, and then it is the race, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Our man Kenny Wallace is going to be in that race while we have that truck right there, the driver in the booth taking your spot.
Well, by gosh, I hope that I'm running good enough in the AutoZone 4 tomorrow where, as we say in TV, put me in the, if I put myself in the box, JB's going to have to talk about me.
Well, we hope that you'll talk to us if we try to talk to you.
I will.
When you're leading out front. Let's take a recap now of what's taken place so far in this race. Early on, the second caution came out when Kelly Sutton got turned around a little bit on the inside of the track here.
Yeah, she got sideways right in front of Steve Park. They made a little bit of contact. She made a little contact with the inside wall.
Look out, Mr. Official. Wow.
Going to roll down the side of that truck. Fortunately, got up on his own power. Seems to be okay.
Lap 83. Terry Earnhardt in that number 13 gets spun around, and look at the trucks able to avoid that accident.
There's lap number 20. There's a 60 of Jack Sprague. He makes contact with a 12 of Joey Miller. Puts him a little bit into the inside wall. Damage his truck. Hurts his day. Here comes Johnny Benson. You see the 33 and Ron Hornaday wiggle. Johnny takes the lead.
Cruz letting him know, nice job, JB. That's what we need. And then our most recent caution came out as Todd Bodine was struggling, moving toward the back of the field, tried to come down. Aaron Crocker was in the spot. He got spun around. Our 9th caution of the night came out.
Let's take a look at our race summary right here. You see Johnny Benson as our leader. We've had 12 lead changes. Remember, last year we had 1 caution. Well, this year we've had 9. We've got 19 trucks in the lead lap. And right now, our second place truck of Ron Hornaday is right on the back bumper of Johnny Benson. Ray?
Hey, Phil, you mentioned that JB will be up in the booth tomorrow night talking about how great Kenny Wallace is running in the Busch race, but when the other guys that are out there on the racetrack will be busy. Hornaday, who's in second, he'll be in the Busch race tomorrow night. So will Mike Bliss, who's running 4th, and David Rudeman, who's running 5th. So I guess my question is, how much of an advantage will it give these guys having this much track time tonight? I mean, I know Hornaday has told me in the past that it's really a bit of a different race when you're in the Busch race as opposed to these trucks, but will this track time help them?
Well, I think what's going to help Ron Hornaday is the knowledge that Kevin Harvick Incorporated has learned about these front ends. I kind of got that racer attitude. They've got a situation where Hornaday ran real good at Dover. You know, I mean, the guy ran up there in the top 5 or whatever race it was. The last Busch race Hornaday ran, he ran up in the top 5. I think he's sitting in the catbird seat because when he runs that Busch car tomorrow, he's going to know what he's looking for, and that's going to help him.
They're continuing to do cleanup on the racetrack. The jet dryers are actually coming out to go through turns 1 and 2 now. Again, that mishap took place coming out of turn number 2 between Todd Bodine and Aaron Crocker. Out in front of the field, though, Johnny Benson looking for 2 in a row. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is presented by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. Brought to you in part by Valvoline. Tested on the track, trusted on the road. And by Suzuki, maker of performance-driven motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. Gorgeous night for racing in the Milwaukee area. We're at the fairgrounds, the Milwaukee Mile, and Johnny Benson is again out in front of the field.
We're going to get this restart with 25 laps to go. JB trying to make it 2 in a row. Ron Hornaday trying to get his 2nd win of the year. Jack Sprague trying to get his 1st win in a long time.
And you know Hornaday's supposed to take the lead on this restart, don't you, Phil?
He did earlier today.
I mean, let's see. Here we go. I'm getting excited. I got goosebumps.
Ron Hornaday knows how to restart. The green flag flies. Dennis James shows him the flag. It's Johnny Benson trying to hold on. Ron Hornaday, a great start. Hornaday looks to the inside, but Johnny Benson closes the door. Benson will hold on to the lead as they come out of 2.
Hornaday got such a good restart. He was so close to Johnny, he had to follow him through the corner.
Boy, I tell you what, that's the only way to hold Ron Hornaday. I keep thinking about Harvick on it. He just blocked him going into 1.
Jack Sprague trying to get around slower lap traffic of Aaron Crocker. Sprague holding on to 3rd. Then it's Bliss and Ruderman rounding out our top 5.
David Ruderman currently 2nd in the points. What a terrific season he's had. I think he's been in the top 10, all but 2 races this year.
And a great points night for him because Todd Bodine right now being scored 22nd a lap down.
And Ted Musgrave, who was 3 points behind Ruderman coming into this race, 26th.
Make sure to stay tuned here on Speed. Trackside will follow us.
Johnny opens up about a 3-4 truck length lead right now on Ron Hornaday.
Man, oh man, I'm going to tell you what. Look in the back there, race fans. I'm going to tell you what, these guys, they're up there twiddly-dee, twiddly-dum. But here's what's going on in the back. Look at that. It's out of hand.
Trucks everywhere. See there, very right of your screen, caught a glimpse of Ted Musgrave, who's being shown a lap down. Right in the middle of your screen, Eric Almirola, the 75 truck. He's currently being shown in the 16th position. There's Steve Park, the 59. Jim Harris, trucking Dodge, right behind him. Look at that wad down in 3 and 4.
A lot of trucks jockeying for position. Our leaders just go by the start-finish line.
That's exciting. That's all I can say.
There's the 20 of Marcus Ambrose on the outside. He's got a great run going. He's currently being shown in 12th position. That would be his best career finish. There's the 25 of Boston Reed. We caught a glimpse of him. And there's Mike Skinnerpool's way to the inside, trying to get by some trucks. There's Timothy Peters, the 4 truck. He's on the lead lap.
22 laps to go, and I'm going to tell you what, these guys are giving it everything they have. We're sitting up here in the air condition. Everybody's at home going, wow, look at these trucks. Let me tell you what, guys, they are on the wheel. Look at that.
75 truck slow off of turn number 4. I don't know if he got out too wide or maybe even made some contact with the outside wall. Lost a couple spots right there. There's the 22 of Bill Lester trying to move by on the inside.
How much concentration does it take right now when you're coming into the final laps of this race and you've got so many trucks all around you?
Well, right here, as you see Bliss making the move on the inside of Sprague, these guys have to concentrate that they don't run into each other. Look, 20 laps to go. We're running up here all by ourselves. We don't want to embarrass ourselves and take ourselves out. Bliss, look here. His rear end's getting sucked around right now. He's leaning all over Sprague. Believe me, it's a lot harder inside the truck than it does just watching.
Mike Bliss trying to get his best career finish. I'm sorry, not career finish, best finish of the year. He finished 4th a couple races ago, trying to go for 3rd on Jack Sprague right there.
Something that simple, Sprague hanging on the outside, that's hard to do. Him just staying off his left rear, that's hard to do.
You know, Mike Bliss is getting a good bite off the corner. That's hard to do when you don't have the whole racetrack, Kenny, to use. You can't slide up to the wall. It's hard to pinch that truck down and get a good bite, but Mike Bliss is able to do that.
You just can't sit here and go, wow, that guy's going around the outside. He's using all the talent he has right now. As you see, him make the move. Sprague finally completes it. Now let's see if he can hold it down. No, he can't hold it down. Here comes Bliss again.
Mike Bliss able to drive right down through the center of the corner, right on the inside. Again, he can't quite use the whole racetrack. He has to back off a little bit, ease out of the throttle, pull back in behind the 60 of Jack Sprague.
Folks, this is a battle for third position. Remember, between the two of these drivers, they have 4 series championships. So we're talking about some veterans of the Truck Series here.
Remember, Jack Sprague drove that 16 truck last year, finished second in this race in that 16 truck.
That 16 truck is an interesting truck because all the drivers they have had in it have basically won championships. And for one reason or the other, the drivers go on. So it's a very different situation every time I look at that 16 truck.
Kenny, they won a championship with Mike Bliss driving it. Then they won the next year with Travis Quapple driving that truck. 2 championships right there with Mike Bliss and Travis Quapple.
All I know is if you drive this 16 truck, that should be a good thing.
Yeah. And Kenny, remember, this truck here has not really had a sponsor. Steve Coulter, that used to own this team, stepped on board and helped them get thus far. But it sounds like he's not going to be able to back that team beyond this month. So they're really looking for sponsorship. Here you have a truck running in the top 5, and he may not have a sponsor after this month.
You know, I don't like what I'm hearing. I want all of corporate America to take a look. This is a great race. This 16 truck doesn't have a sponsor. Kevin Harvick's truck with Ron Hornaday driving does not have a sponsor. I don't like what I'm seeing. I want corporate America to take advantage of these great trucks. Look at this race. Here's Bliss on the inside.
We've got such good racing here in the Truck Series. Mike Bliss tries to take over third, moves to the inside. He had a great run off the corner.
Side by side again. Sprague on the outside of the number 60 Toyota. On the inside, it's the 16 of Mike Bliss and that Chevrolet. These guys have been going at it for the past 7 laps.
I mean, what race do you want to see? We'll show you it all over. This is awesome.
Johnny Benson has a little over a 2.5-second lead over Ron Hornaday. That's first and second. And then this is the battle for third. Side by side, these two guys are separated by hundreds of seconds.
Mike Bliss able to finally move over. Jack Sprague slid up a little bit too wide in the center of the corner. Mike Bliss was able to drive by, take over the third spot.
And Kevin Harvick, you're out in California right now. Your truck is running second. The reason we're not showing you the lead, because Johnny Benson is gone.
Check it out right now. A guy trying to move up. He's currently in 9th is Terry Cook. Now, let's go down and find out, Krista, what's going on with Terry?
Well, Terry Cook is probably smiling inside that truck because they have been very good all night. He does say the truck is just a bit tight, but they moved from 19th to 8th in just 50 laps. They are planning on keeping that top 10 and improving, picking off truck 1 by 1. Ray?
Well, Krista, I would imagine that they waved the magic wand over that IWX Chevrolet for Mike Bliss, because in practice earlier today, he was not happy at all. He just said this truck is way too tight. They changed a lot of different things on the truck, and there was really kind of a little bit of a weird situation there where Bliss said a couple of times, just do whatever you want. I'm not sure, because all the things they were working on just didn't seem to improve it. But apparently whatever they did made it work a lot better at nighttime, a lot better than it did during the day.
There's one driver that we haven't talked a whole lot about tonight. That's Timothy Peters driving the number 4 Dodge out of Bobby Hamilton stables. He is running 10th right now. Has a great run going. There he is right there. There's Timothy Peters. You can see started back in the 27th position. 11th, his best finish this year. Looking for his first top 10, Krista.
Yeah, guys, Timothy Peters, he actually is the only truck out there on those last stops that was able to put stickers on. They were the only truck that had a set of sticker tires left. It's actually been a very big week for Timothy Peters. He got to fill in on a radio show in Nashville, the show that Bobby Hamilton, his boss, usually does with Liz Allison. Well, obviously, Bobby Hamilton recovering from his chemotherapy, so Timothy Peters says he's not really much of a talker, but he filled in on something that he would normally never do, a radio show. Now he's hoping that he gets a finish that's worth a radio appearance this week in Milwaukee.
And remember, that truck finished, or not that actual truck, but the number finished 3rd a week ago in Michigan with Bobby Labonte behind the wheel. Again, up next, following our truck race, it's Trackside Live from the wine country, Sonoma, California. Steve, Larry, Jeff, and DW with special guests tonight. Greg Biffle, Ron Fellows, Travis Quapple, David Gilliland. What a story right there from the Busch Series. David Gilliland breaking into that Cup-dominated Busch Series and able to get his first win in the Busch Series. He'll be on trackside tonight.
There's Ted Musgrave right there trying to make his way around the 98 of Aaron Crocker. That is a battle for position right there. Aaron Crocker's running 24th. Ted Musgrave 25th. There's Bill Luster right there. He's on the lead lap. He's being shown in the 15th position. There's Ted Musgrave able to make his way by Aaron Crocker. He takes over 24th spot from Aaron Crocker. We're inside of 10 laps to go, guys. That means there's going to be no more lucky dogs. That means Todd Bodine is going to finish this race a lap down. Right now he's being 20th. He's going to take a hit in the points. And there's our leader, Johnny Benson, going for 2 in a row.
Johnny Benson with 8 laps to go, trying to get his second win in the Truck Series.
And man, we have a fight for second. Here goes Bliss all over Hornaday down the back straightaway. What's he going to do? Is he going to go outside or inside? I bet Bliss goes to the outside.
We saw Mike take the pass from Jack Sprague, now inside of Ron Hornaday. Again, this is the battle for second.
He got loose in the bottom, Kenny. Did you see him wiggle down there? Couldn't quite get the bite he needed.
And Hornaday's got to race him, but he's got to remember, hey, I have a points battle going on here. Ron's not going to do nothing, I don't think, to wreck this truck. I believe the 16 has to go to the outside. Ron's going to guard that bottom. Let's see what happens.
He's going to guard the top 2, I think, Kenny.
He's going to guard the whole mile. Ron Hornaday wanting to hold on to second. Mike Bliss trying to take the position away. On the outside, it's Bliss and Hornaday on the inside in the 33. Can Bliss make the pass? This is for second.
Hornaday wiggled through the center of the corner there. That allowed Bliss to get up on the outside. Let's see if he can beat him down to turn 1.
Hornaday with the preferred line on the inside. Bliss running on his high side in the number 16 Chevrolet. 2 Chevrolets running side by side. This is for second. Out in front of them, 4 seconds ahead is Johnny Benson, but the race now is for second, and Bliss wins that race as they go into turns 3 and 4.
If Johnny Benson could see this, he would say, please, guys, don't hit each other. We don't need a caution flag.
Wow, what a race. I tell you what, those are 2 championship drivers laying off each other, but yet giving it everything they have.
And Kenny, both of those guys, former winners here at this racetrack.
Man, oh man, at high speed, running 130 mile an hour sideways.
Johnny Benson, almost 5 seconds between himself and Mike Bliss, who's now moved into second. All Johnny Benson needs now is green flag laps.
Okay, Phil, so I have a question. A guy goes 2 or 3 years in a Truck Series, you know, runs second, third, fourth. Look, I had 3 second place finishes in the Busch Series last year. Now all of a sudden, bar of tragedy, he's going to win 2 in a row. What gives? Why?
Well, you need to go get your first win in a while, and then you win a second one in a row.
I think this is great for Johnny Benson. Look at him. He's got a huge lead, but what I think's better is he finally wins, and he wins in 2 in a row. Now last week wasn't a fluke.
We heard him say earlier that only 3 members of his team had ever been to victory lane before. What kind of a confidence builder was that last week? Those guys getting to victory lane. I tell you, confidence just breeds more confidence, and they've got it right now.
I just think it's incredible that a guy, you know, just goes 2 years and everybody goes, well, can he get the job done? Well, he's 40-something years old. And man, I just love this story right here. I think it's neat that Johnny Benson has showed the world now, hey, look, we got things together. Just like, you know, look at the story Dale Earnhardt Jr. had last year. Lost his crew chief, didn't do good, come back this year, a little more chemistry. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins Richmond. Now look at this guy. He's going to do the same thing, but he's going to win 2 in a row.
Just under 2 laps of racing to go. Johnny Benson out in front of the field by just 4 seconds. Now 4 seconds is a lot, but if he doesn't get to the white flag, it won't be a lot because we'll go to a green-white checkered if a caution was to come out. He's going through 3 and 4 now. If he makes it to the white flag, no green-white checkered.
He's got a lot of heavy traffic in front of him. There's about 4 trucks in a wad right in front of him. He does get to the white flag. He needs to get around here clean one more time.
Johnny's got to figure out how to not catch these trucks. He doesn't want to catch them. He's got a big lead. Let's hope these guys in front stay clean and green.
His spotter's letting him know, Johnny, you've got a big lead. 3.5 seconds over Mike Bliss. Be cautious. You've got a lot of trucks around you. Just negotiate your way through here because the next flag you see will be the checkered flag. Johnny Benson comes out of turn number 4 and wins his 2nd race in a row.
What a great job by Johnny Benson, Rick Ren, that entire Bill Davis team there. It's the first repeat winner we've had since Daytona, California from Mark Martin. What a terrific job by Johnny Benson's team.
What an incredible story. Johnny Benson, one of 17 drivers to have now won in Busch, Cup, Trucks. Look at this crew. They're learning how to celebrate only their 2nd win.
Momentum. I mean, Johnny Benson's team came in here with momentum. They kept that running, and now Johnny Benson has to be considered a challenger for this championship.
Absolutely. Todd Bodine's going to take a bit of a hit in the points. He's going to finish back in 20th.
Another driver had a good run. David Rudeman coming into this was second in the point standings. He came home 5th tonight. And here come the donuts. Johnny Benson. Well, he got a little practice last week. We'll see how he does this week. Johnny Benson celebrating win number 2 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in just the same amount of weeks. Benson, your winner at the Milwaukee Mile. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is presented by Craftsman. Fireworks have just ended here at the Milwaukee Mile for Johnny Benson's win. Coming home in second, Mike Bliss. He's with Ray Dunlap.
Yeah, and Mike Bliss had a great run here. He's just finishing up his radio interview here. And Mike, second place today. I know you weren't very happy with this truck earlier in practice today, but you got to be pretty satisfied with that.
If you would have told me 3 hours ago that this IWX Chevy Silverado was going to finish second, I would have bet against it. Dave and I were worried about getting lapped today. We were so bad in practice, but you know, he changed everything he could on this truck. And, you know, we had probably the best truck at the end of the long run, and I'd like seeing, 10 laps. But, you know, it's second place is great. That's our best finish of the year, and guys did great in the pits. And we're just, we're excited about it, but I'm like, dang, 10 more laps, But that's good. That's good for us.
Congratulations. Good second place run, and I believe Krista is now in victory lane with Johnny Benson.
That's right, and you can tell by the celebration and the hooping and hollering that Johnny Benson has made it to victory lane. It took him a while to get that first win. It took him less than a week, 6 days, to get the second. Johnny, are you a different driver behind this truck after these wins? I mean, this is just clicking for you guys.
I'm not a different driver. These guys just doing an awesome job, and Rick Grant he's a man. But we struggled just a little bit in practice, but not bad. And we made a couple changes. Harry did some great work on the shocks. TRD. Toyota certified used vehicles, XI batteries, Bosch, Valvoline, just everybody involved. Bill and Gail Davis, thank you for the opportunity. And to win the Toyota race was awesome. But last week was great for the first one, 2 in a row. I don't even know what to think.
Well, it took you a little while to get to victory lane, but we know you've been here before in an ASA race, I believe, in Milwaukee.
I won an ASA race here, but victory lane was on the front stretch. So I stopped out there, and then nobody knew it. The guys on the team, heck, we don't know. Last week was our first time, so it don't matter. I don't even care. They can laugh all they want. This is pretty cool to win.
And they can pretty much do whatever they want. They are the winners here in Milwaukee.
Thank you.
Learning how to celebrate in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is Johnny Benson. Well, he's also learned how to move up in the point standings, now into third. Now, David Rudeman also closing in a little bit on Todd Bodine. Bodine finishing 20th in today's race. Rudeman made up 52 points on Todd Bodine. Todd Bodine was leading him by 178 points when they entered the race tonight. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is brought to you by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears. Welcome back to the Toyota Tundra Milwaukee 200 from the Milwaukee Mile just outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Johnny Benson shaking hands and celebrating from victory lane, enjoying his second win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Let's go to Ray Dunlap. He's caught up with Ron Hornaday.
Well, thank you, Rick. He led the most laps tonight, and he comes home with a third-place finish. That was pretty good, but is there anything you would have done differently tonight that might have got you to victory lane?
We cut the race to 150, but no. No, I drove that thing for everything it's got. Kevin Delaney's gave me a great Silverado, but I don't know why I was getting loose getting in and everything, and about the last 5 laps after Bliss passed me, I put a bunch of front brake in it, and I got really good. So it just, I drove the wheels off, and that's literally drove it off. I mean, I just was too loose getting in, and Wally said to make it better to the middle, because when Benson got us the first time, he was just really rolling the center. So we had to free it up, and we freed it up getting in and getting off. So Johnny definitely beat us, and we'll take that. For KHI, I got to thank Wally and all the guys. I mean, we found something. I'll take another top 5, and it's so cool to come out here and race and have fun, and hope they're taking care of my new dog, by the way. But other than that, I mean, it's just a lot of fun. But Kevin Delaney, this is so cool. I mean, learn a little bit for the Busch car tomorrow. Hopefully we can take the outdoor channel Chevrolet tomorrow and do good with it.
All right, we'll see him tomorrow night in the Busch car. Hornaday finishes third tonight here at Milwaukee.
Take a look at our unofficial results. Johnny Benson back up top again. Mike Bliss with a very strong performance. I think we got to point out Timothy Peters, a top 10 performance for a Dodge, second week in a row.
Yeah, and David Starr, fought his way back into the top 10, made a late pit stop, got him back into the top 10. And Rick Crawford with another top 10.
And I have to give a shout out to my teammate Terry Cook, who had a strong 10th place finish. Good job, Terry Cook.
How about Eric Almirola and Chad McCumbee, two rookies finishing 13th and 14th on a very tough track.
Marcus Ambrose gets his best career finish of 18th. First truck 1 lap down. As you see, Todd Bodine has worst finish of the year in 20th. And the only time he's failed to complete every lap this year.
And here I go. Let's give it up for our 22nd place finisher, Justin Allgaier. And that truck is not, I would say, a truck that is well funded. So I think that was a good job. That's Mike Mittler's truck out of Missouri. They're all good friends of mine, so good job, Justin.
There's Bobby Hamilton Jr., 31st. He had a problem. He had to change battery under green flag conditions. Matt Crafton, tough break, getting taken out in an accident. Had such a good, consistent year going. Bad finish for Matt Crafton.
2 trophies in 2 weeks. This has got to be something that they're going to really cherish. And we talked about the momentum. They have really got the momentum in their corner right now.
Well, I've got to say, how about these last 2 weeks in NASCAR? In the NASCAR Busch Series, David Gilliland, now Johnny Benson, 2 in a row. I mean, this is a feel-good story all over NASCAR. I mean, just an incredible 2 weeks in NASCAR.
Our next race in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Kansas Speedway, next Saturday on the 1st of July. We will be continuing with the great Midwest swing that the Truck Series has taken. We can remind you that trackside coming up next, and Johnny Benson will continue to celebrate in Victory Lane. Started off, Johnny Benson started this one in 4th, which we've seen if you start inside the top 10, you got a pretty good chance of winning.
Every winner started inside the top 10. 8th, the farthest back any winner started, all but one in the top 5.
Sparks flew. There was fireworks that took place at the end of this race because Johnny Benson, Rick Grin, his crew chief, were able to find Victory Lane again in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.